Hello, everybody. If it's Wednesday, it's Warhammer, and that must mean it's time for another episode of Warhammer Weekly. Joining me, as always, is my co-host Tyler. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Good man. Happy to be back. Enjoyed the show last week.
Good. Glad to hear it. I can see we're both shifting into fall mode here. I've got my vest on. You've got your,
Yep.
your comfy little your hoodie, sweater, sweatshirt situation going on. Yes.
Yeah.
And then we got Travis, who's just rocking the merch. What's up, Travis? Welcome back to the show. Good to have you again.
Thanks. Yeah, it's been a little bit, but always great to be on here.
I would point out, Tyler, you are in fact the only one not in representative merch. Like mine is very hidden, but I am in fact wearing me on my
Nice.
t-shirt. There you go.
Look at that.
There you go. It's obviously under many layers, like an ape. There's so many layers that I am hidden under there. But yes, I'm wearing a shirt with me on it. That is as egotistical as one could possibly get in life. So tonight we're going to talk about the current meta. We're going to talk about Vault Wars. We're going to look at some people's lists. We're going to talk about what we think it means. But what does it mean? Yeah, we're going to get into all that. It's going to be a good time. But of course, first, the news. What do we got there, buddy?
40K rumor engine all the time. 40K, right? That's what this show's
40K
about.
rumor engine. Apparently, yes. Apparently, it is in fact just about 40K rumor engines. Yes.
Excellent. Cool. So yeah. We good?
We're good. Next thing.
I'm just trying to catch up on, let's see. All right, excellent. Good work, Paul Castro. Starting off strong. We had a reveal show that I missed the show of. Yeah.
We did.
Good work by Chuck. He is so much better at both Tom and I, certainly me, with those reveal shows. I mean, Tom barely showed up. So
yeah, he was
clocked
there in
for
like
2
in
minutes.
name only. Yeah, then we had to bring in the real expert in Chuck. So okay, Travis, I'm gonna start with you. What'd you think of the reveals on Saturday? You excited? What do you think?
Yeah, I thought I own a Scriptborn, pretty sweet model. Excited to see that on the table and the different paint jobs we'll have. Let's see, what else was there? The bug from the Sylvaneth. We got the guys from what's the movie? All the memes.
I'm just interested to watch you try to fight through this.
Starship Troopers.
There we go. Okay.
We got the Starship Troopers bug. And then we got Bretonia, which is nice and exciting.
Yeah, an underrated Paul Verhoeven classic. Quick shout out to AOS List Lab. What's up, brother? Hope you're doing well down there, Mr. Smorgan. Yes, all those things were great, and yeah, New Bretonia looked pretty cool for a game I probably won't play very much, or if at all, but it's still cool. I'm happy to see it. Looks like some good new sculpts. I'm sure I'll paint them anyways. Tyler, what'd you think? You excited for your new Sylvaneth Kurnoth boy?
I mean, yeah, it makes me regret selling that army. Obviously, I had a good reason for it back in the day. Oh my God, that Belthanos Orion 2. Man, model of the year. I think you said that already, right? We've already confirmed that that's model of the year. Oh, it's perfect. It's literally perfect, Vincent. I love it. That's what your name says right there, Vincent Venturella. That's your name.
Indeed. I know how, I actually think I saw like Domus, I think, or a couple people being pretty upset about Belthanos because they felt like it was too much. Like, oh, you're killing Orion, and this is like it's because it's Orion's pose with the spear and the thing. And I'm like, Orion died a long time ago. That guy's dead. That does not exist. That is a dead thing. Okay, you're mourning over something that has been lost for years. They're choosing to pay homage to a classic miniature with a new sculpt with this guy, and I think he's great. I'm glad that they paid homage in that way. Honoring your forebears, as it were.
100%. It's amazing. It'll be okay, Domus. Just let it go, my friend. It's been 8 years. He needs to move on.
Yeah,
it's time.
Orion.
Yeah. So yes, no, loved it. I own a Scriptborn. Amazing. Strav said. Fantastic model. It's getting my hopes up that maybe they're going to do some revamping of all of the 2015 box set models, maybe more. Maybe all of the older Stormcasts are going to get a refresh, We had a article on Realms of Ruin showing off some Liberators and Thinner Strike armor as an alternative. Maybe we're going to get those next year. I'm here for it. Let's see Vandus with a new model, new Paladin, Retributors, etc. Very excited.
It's a lot to redo. I don't like, in my estimation, a new Liberator would be fine. I always thought they were too chunky and silly. Although, again, it would be ironic if they redid the model that is literally the statue in front of the building.
Oh, why'd you have to say that?
Mm-hmm.
That would be pretty funny.
Yeah. Yeah. Are we going to get a new statue? I don't think those come cheap. I'm just saying, where's the line item in the budget of like, wait, if we redo these Liberators, do we have to replace the thing out front?
Yeah.
Now, that being said, they keep the old Space Marine around, and obviously he's like a firstborn, tiny little, like, 3rd edition era, little funny squat-looking Space Marine, so
yeah.
I suppose there's a long life. It's all just history, right? But yes, Ionis coming back is great. We have a new Arch Relictor. Oops, all dragons. I'm sure will be a thing. Very exciting. All right. Cool. Very good. What else we got?
Well, Travis pointed out to us that apparently some new War Scrolls have come out that I doubt many people knew about.
I'm so glad Travis was here and had the hot info, because let me tell you what, this was not on my radar. I put together the news for today. I had no idea that these 4 War Scrolls have been released. Why would I know? I only read Warcom and associated other news sites to Warhammer stuff, none of which mentioned it. But why, I ask you, why would they mention that they had released these War Scrolls on the main page of Warcom? Doesn't everybody go to Warcom every day, click the downloads button, go to that page, select Age of Sigmar, and then scroll all the way to the bottom, past the Legends entries, to this section where you can find these scrolls? Are you for real, Warcom people? Who's responsible here? Who is responsible for this? This is ridiculous. Is this like some ridiculous attempt at viral marketing where like somebody accidentally stumbles upon this and then the word gets out? Nonsense. Put up an article. Yeah. My God. Okay. Now that I've gotten that out of the way. Because like he's like, Travis and I was like pointing me toward these right before the show. He's like, yeah, they're in the downloads. I'm looking on the downloads. I'm like, there's nothing dated today. Yeah. He's like, no, keep scrolling. Go past the Legends.
You were less PG about 10 minutes ago, but that's fine. That's
Indeed.
Fine. It's a family show. Right.
A section of that page I have literally never scrolled to. Never. Not once have I scrolled that far. Never. At any rate, let's talk about these new scrolls.
There's good stuff down there, apparently.
Apparently, it's just a bounty of riches hiding down there. Yeah, who knows what else is down there? Maybe my new Skaven book is down there somewhere with actual 3.0 updates. All right, so Will to Corpse Hunters. This is one of them they published. This was just the publishing of the thing that is already in cities. So nothing new here. It's the same thing it always has been. It's 11 guys. 4 of them are dogs. They can pre-game move, and they're not visible. Blah, blah, blah. 12 inches terrain. Okay. So, great. Here we go. Cruel Boys Monster Killers. Okay. So, these guys, they've got their Monster Killers weapons, which they are all armed with, which each guy in this unit, there's eight orky boys, each making 3 attacks on 4s and 3s, nag 1/1. You've got a Beast Snob. He gets 1 extra attack. You got a Musician, which says that enemy monsters within 3 inches of this unit cannot retreat. Sure, let's just continue putting the most powerful effects in a sort of unit on musicians and standard bearers and nonsense like that not every unit gets. Totally cool. We got a Clutchagrot, which is he gets a little spiky shell. So you got 7 guys that attack with the monster kill weapons. The little Grot dude doesn't. He just gets the little crappy weapon. And then there are rules. Once per phase, when an enemy monster within 6 inches of this unit is picked to carry out a monstrous rampage, if this unit has any Clutchagrots, you can say that the monster will try to gobble up a Clutchagrot. If you do so, roll a die. On a 2+, that monster cannot carry out a monstrous rampage that phase. On a 1, the Clutchagrot in this unit is slain. Okay, so 2-up can't still monstrous rampages, notably within 6 inches.
Yep.
Not within 3,
Yeah.
which is pretty wild. Why wouldn't it be within 3? Why wouldn't it be within the same range? That would make sense, but okay.
They're tossing him at the monster.
Yeah. Hey.
Travis is a big fan of 6-inch nonsense, Vince. So this is
Indeed.
excited to see this soon, Travis.
And then bait and trap. At the start of the combat phase, you can pick one enemy monster within 6 inches of this unit and roll a dice. Add 1 to the roll if that monster has any wounds allocated to it. On a 3+, the strike last effect applies to that monster till the end of that phase. So basically on a 2-up, if it's a wounded monster, so that's pretty wild. I remember the days of 2-up fight last. It was good days. The golden days of 2019. It's all gone now, though. But I'm glad to see it's back for these idiots. They are 8 guys for 135 points.
That's a pretty damn good unit.
Yeah.
Looking at this is obviously the first time I think both Vince and I are seeing this. I think Trav, you looked earlier today at these. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff going on there.
Oh, I am reading these in real time. I'll make no bones about it. I learned these existed 10 minutes ago. Yeah. Okay. So obviously they don't have any battlefield roles. So you can take 8 or 16 of these, right? So they could be reinforced ones. Don't know if you'd really need to. Seems like you could use them either as forward chaff or float around in the line chaff. Both of these effects trigger within 6 inches, so you don't actually need them to be in combat with the monsters. You can just kind of have them amongst your line behind other units and very much make your units immune to monsters, which is pretty wild because like most of the monsters coming into you are highly likely to be wounded, right? Either through your shots, your various shots. And Cruel Boys, you have many different shots that you could be taking that will wound them before they get to your lines. And then you just have some of these, little 8-pack of these hiding behind other stuff, whatever, gut rippers and whatnot. And then the unit comes in, the monster comes in, 2-up, they fight last, 2-up, they have no monstrous rampage. That is truly turning a monster into an impotent unit. So pretty crazy.
Also, 2-inch range with a lot of attacks.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, you're absolutely right. We can't sleep on their actual attacks.
Yeah,
the unit of 8 of these guys makes 21 attacks on 4s, 3s, neg 1, 1. It's not terrible. Sorry, 22, because the champion.
Yep.
So, not bad at all.
It's
I mean, the 5-up save is the limitation, right? That's what it is.
Pretty efficient.
That's most Cruel Boys, though.
Sure. Yep. Fragile. Absolutely. Do we think these will show up in some lists? Travis, what's your thought?
Yeah. Sorry,
I'd say so. I'd say you might see a reinforced unit behind your main line, just hanging out, waiting for a monster. Someone has a arcane bolt ready to go just to wound one, just in case.
Piff.
Yeah.
Take that.
Exactly.
Now you fight last. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was already pretty decent roll. I mean, even on a 3-up, I did like fight last on a 3-up is not a bad rule on its own. Fight last on a 2-up, pretty good. All right, so yeah, these guys seem strong, following in a recent tradition of having these Warcry units actually be interesting in the army. I mean, the downside of them is yes, they're as Sweat said, they're not battle line. Or Sweet, sorry. They're not battle line, and if you're playing somebody who just has no monsters, it's like, okay, they just become chaff. They just become 8 dudes who are out in front and you use them as chaff. Your deployment's going to shift, but other than that, it's fine. All right, cool. I mean, they're not so expensive you're really hurting. It's like, oh no, they have no monsters. I'll just have to use this 8-man unit.
Yeah.
It's relatively decent chaff.
That's cheap. Very cheap.
Vulcan Flame Seekers. 2 wounds each, 5 up save, 8 bravery, 4-inch move, our standard sort of fire slayers. There are 9 of these guys. Each model is armed with a fire steel throwing axe and a Vulcan fire steel weapon. Well, almost all of them. So the Vulcan Runefather, 1 in every 9 is a Runefather. Add 1 to the attacks characteristic of their weapon. They got a Drothmaster. That's fine. That's what he is, which will come up in a moment. And then the Kindle Droth, 1 in every 9 models this season must be a Kindle Droth. A Kindle Droth is armed with Ember Teeth instead of a Fire Steel throwing axe and a Vulcan Fire Steel weapon because he's a little boy. He's a little pet. He's a little dog. He's a little fire dog. Magma Droth Scale Whip. While this unit includes a Drothmaster, enemy monsters within 3 inches of this unit cannot carry out monstrous rampages. Why go to the 2-up? That's what I say. 2-up. 2-up fails too often. That's what I say. Let's get straight to just can't do it. Now, the difference here is, of course, yeah, they do have to be within danger range because they've got to be within 3 inches. But, not bad. And then the Kindle Droth at the end of the combat phase, pick 1 enemy unit within 1 inch of this unit. It's Kindle Droth and roll 2 dice for each 4+ that enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound. That's fine. He coughs a little fire on him at the end. The little dog.
Yeah.
And these guys are 9 for 140 points. And interestingly, they are battle line in a Lofnir army. Okay, Travis, we're gonna start with you again. What's your vote on these guys?
They got a lot of attacks again, 2-inch range. They don't have any rend though, so that's gonna be hard against stuff that can save stack. You might consider bringing somebody with curse to try to fish for 6s with them, but I don't know. I'm not sold on these guys.
Yeah, the units put out 25 attacks on 3s and 3s, which isn't bad, right? But you're right. It's not doing much, unless like against any even moderately hard target, right? The shut off the monstrous rampage is cool, but that's basically what they're doing. And again, these guys are on a 5-up save. No built-in backup ward ability or stuff like that, right? So they will die fairly quickly if anything touches them. So, and no ability to make that monster fight last. So even if they are fighting a monster which they have to be danger close to use their ability, it's like, okay, I can't stomp them, but many monsters will still just shred them, and then just move on with their life, right? So, yeah. Okay. Tyler, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we've gone from a strong, fascinating war scroll to pretty lame war scroll here. I don't see a lot of value. Yeah. Which is sad because this is the most beautiful set of Fire Slayer models that they've released. Like they nailed Fire Slayers finally. Love the unit, but yeah, I don't see a lot here. I know you can give them rent, like with your rune at least. Sure. I don't know if there's any other way, but yeah, once a game, right? So looks pretty lame. I mean, 2-inch reach, 3 attacks. Yeah, you're gonna get some decent numbers out of that, but not a fan. Pretty looks like they barely filmed this in. Like barely.
Okay, right on. Let's talk about the last one. Maybe the most interesting one in my mind, just because it's so completely sort of wild that this exists. From this ancient model, I would have thought this thing just would have been legend, but no. In fact, not only did we get a new one, we got a unit of new ones. The Gorger Maw Pack, 5 wounds, 6-up save, 8 bravery, 6 inches. And so the Gorger Maw Pack, each guy has bone shattering strikes, 2-inch reach, 3 attacks, 3s, 3s, neg 1, 2 damage. 1 in every 5 models is a clawback, which is their champion. And 1 in every 5 models is a cave howler. We'll talk about that guy more in a moment. During deployment, instead of setting this unit up, you can place it aside and say it will set up an ambush as a reserve unit. If you do so at the end of your movement phase, you can set up this unit on the battlefield more than 9 inches from all enemy units. So the good ambush rule, standard high quality ambush, that is to say they can set up anywhere. They're not restricted to a board edge. They don't have to set up in the first turn. They don't have to be near terrain. It's just 9 inches away. So that's cool. They do have the Gutbusters keyword and all of that. They are gorgers. And then roll a dice each time an enemy unit receives a command within 12 inches of a friendly cave howler. On a 5-up, that command is not received. One of those annoying abilities. But it's fine. You can never bank on it with the 5-up. Many units have this. It's certainly annoying, and it can certainly ruin somebody's day, but it's not something that ever is like really that impactful. Notably, these guys are 5 wounds each, so the 5 of them do count as 10 on an objective. So that's quite interesting for an ambush unit to drop in.
Mm-hmm.
So then we have the Maw Pit, new faction terrain. Only Ogre Maw Tribes armies can include this faction terrain feature. Ogre Maw Tribes armies that include a Maw Pit cannot also include a Great Maw Pot. So the first army to receive 2 optional faction terrain choices. Okay.
Yeah.
It's fine. You set this thing up. It's just like all faction terrain. This terrain feature is defensible terrain that can be garrisoned by a butcher. Okay. He becomes the head butcher. I don't know where he stands in this. Where is he garrisoning this? Is he crawling in the hole? Is he up on the backside, just kind of hanging on the little dais?
Upside down skull that he stands on.
Does his base actually fit in there?
I don't know. I'll pick it up this weekend.
All right, fair enough. We'll see. We'll see if he actually fits in there. All right. What does this thing actually do? Well, the Throat of Gur. There's a joke there. So at the end of the charge phase, the player whose turn is taking place must roll a dice for each unit in their army that is within 12 inches of this terrain feature and within 12 inches of any units in their opponent's army and more than 3 inches. Hold on. Okay.
Got some geometry.
Hold on. I'm going to need to reread this because, again, I'm reading this for the first time. So let me go ahead and get into this again. At the end of the charge phase, so I'm not the ogre player, let's imagine. It's my turn. Okay? I have to roll a dice for each unit in my army that is within 12 inches of the terrain feature and one of the ogre units, but more than 3 inches from any ogre units. So between 3 and 12 inches. Right? On a 3-up, they suffer D3 mortal wounds. If this terrain feature has a head butcher, the range extends to 18 inches. For radius outside of this thing. But not for the other 12-inch. So then it's 18 inches of the terrain feature within 12 of ogres, but outside of 3. This ability has no effect on Gutbusters models. How unfortunate that the Beastclaw Raiders are still getting eaten if they didn't land the charge.
Yeah. Pretty complicated.
Ugh.
Your favorite?
Boy, that feels like we could have given another pass at that one.
Yeah. I mean,
that
very quite strong, but yeah.
I guess if you've got the guy in it, it's actually a pretty decent range. Sure.
Yeah.
Like the difference between 12 inches off this thing and 18 inches off this thing is pretty massive.
Right. Yeah. I'm
when
thinking
it comes
18.
to like actually, especially when you think about how, I mean, again, this thing has to be set up, wholly outside enemy territory. So like there's going to be some natural edge to where this thing is, right? Where you can still garrison it reasonably and it's, reaching into their territory and so on and so forth. Okay, but we're not done yet. Head Butcher. If this terrain feature has a head butcher in your hero phase, you can say that an offering will be made to the Maw Pit. If you do so, pick one enemy unit within 18 inches of this terrain feature and roll a d6. If the roll is more than twice that enemy unit's wounds characteristic, one model in that unit is slain. If the roll is more than 3 times that enemy unit's wounds characteristic, 3 models in that unit are slain. Okay. What's the mechanics going on there? What's happening there? The head butcher's up on top of that little dais, right? This
Yeah.
guy is what? Let's say 18 inches, 28 millimeter scale. An inch is about 6 feet. Okay. So this guy could be anywhere between, like 18 feet and about 108 feet away. Okay.
Mm.
And this guy just points at this unit and he's like, offering. And then a dude just disappears and falls in the hole. Who ate him? How did he fall in the hole? I get it, he got eaten by the moth pit. Where? How? What
It's
happened?
like a sarlacc. It's got the tentacles.
Ah, big tentacle. Okay.
Yeah.
So they're just retracted right now. Okay. All right. Cool. So it's the difference between the model as represented is like 1983 Return of the Jedi, where the Sarlacc pit did not have tentacles, but actually you're saying in reality it's like George Lucas's 1999 re-release of Return of the Jedi, or 98,
Sure.
whenever it was. I can't remember where Return came out in the re-release cycle. Where it was like now tentacles. That's what we're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Cool. All right. Fine. Like, sure, whatever, man. And then it fights back. This is gotta be the most wild rule they've ever written. If this terrain feature is picked as the target of the Smash to Rubble monstrous rampage, and that monstrous rampage is unsuccessful, the monster that carried out the monstrous rampage suffers 3d6 mortal wounds. Designer note, this will never occur. That's not actually what the designer note says, but obviously that is true. Nobody except like a Mega Gargant who doesn't really care that much probably and is just like, yeah, sure, I'll take the shot. Well, why would they care? What's happening? You can't slay me outright if I'm a Mega Gargant, or nor any of my baby giants. What are you going to do? Occasionally do a D3 mortal wounds to me? Like, no one will. This is the dumbest rule, because I hate when they write a rule like this. They wrote this and they were like, yeah, it's going to be real bad, like 3d6 mortals. It's going to be super strong. And all that says is like, okay, cool. No one ever First of all, no one smashes to rubble in general. Like, that just isn't a thing that happens outside of me at a tournament desperately trying to get my round 4 battle tactic with my Sons of Behemoth, because you have no other, because I don't take casters and didn't take the goblins, so I'm rolling a 3-up for a battle tactic on any random piece of terrain, right? Mm-hmm. And outside of that insane situation, this does not occur, and it definitely won't occur to this. Okay, did I miss anything here?
I don't think so, man. It's a lot of rules for that faction terrain. A lot going on there. A little too much.
Yeah, all this says to me is if you don't land your charges, you will occasionally take some damage.
Yeah.
Unless
right?
we got buffed.
Unless you're, yeah. In the mirror match, just nothing happens. The Maw Pit's just like, oh, I got nobody to eat. I hope they took a Frostlord on Stonehorn. Okay. Yep. So cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Also, I'm pretty sure that the Throat of Gur doesn't actually work, because it says the ability affects units within 18 inches of this terrain feature instead of 12. But it doesn't say it changes the range you have to be from the opponent's army. So, like, if you're at 14 inches, then you're not meeting the other qualifying condition, so it wouldn't matter. So it needs an FAQ. Did they mean both 12 inches become 18 inches? Because that's not what the words say. But you see what I'm saying? Like, right now, imagine my unit sitting 14 inches away, and there's a guy in there, there's a head butcher, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't meet the other conditions. So it doesn't matter that I'm within range of the first part. I'm not meeting the second part.
Sure. Yeah.
So either they both have to be 18 inches, which was maybe their intention, and they just wrote it badly. I don't know.
Head butcher this ability seems 18. Yeah.
Right? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. That's weird. Yeah. This thing also has a point value. Has have we had terrain
It's
features with
0.
point?
No, it's
Well,
just
it's
0.
just 0, but
the
just
has it?
back is 220.
Yeah, they all say that in the list. Yeah.
Have they all? Okay, I didn't
They all
know
say
if
that.
they've all said that before. All right, interesting. All right.
So,
yeah.
Branu Mate said the opponent needs to be within 12 inches either thing. It works fine. It doesn't work fine. Okay, I will go through this again. If this terrain feature has a head butcher, this ability affects units within 18 inches of this terrain feature instead of 12 inches. Okay, what that would change, must roll dice for each unit in their enemy that is within 12 inches of this terrain feature and within 12 inches of any units in their opponent's army. And more than 3 from all units. You have to satisfy all 3 conditions to get the 3-up roll happening. This thing only changes the first one. So if I am within 18 inches of the thing, but I'm 14 inches from any Gutbusters or from any Ogre units, then it doesn't do anything to me. So the advanced range meant nothing. Right?
Ability effects. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Great. Good stuff. Thanks, I hate it. I was real excited when I saw the Maw Pot, but like, I don't get it. This is not, or sorry, the Maw Pit. I don't like this at all. This is full of rules I don't like. Not because I think they're like too strong or anything like that. Like, I don't care. I actually think it doesn't do much of anything. I just think it's like nothing. I just think it's nothing. Cool. The Gorgers are fine enough, I guess. That's fine. 220 for 25 wounds? Is that right?
20
5 models?
25
wounds.
Yeah.
It's not bad. I mean, they're on a 6-up save with ambush, so, you know, you can hold them back. They don't risk getting shot or whatever. Okay.
That's a lot of, I don't know, maybe too many points. But yeah, not a terrible unit.
Sure.
Probably too many points.
Hades said it means something because it increases the range of the first condition, which means you can satisfy the other 2 from further away. I'll buy that, Hades. Okay, I see what you're saying. So, like, on the triangulation, technically now this reaches farther. So if my ogres are over here, then I could be... Yeah, okay. I'll buy that. I'll buy that, Hades. Where this is a lot of sound and fury signifying nothing. It's a stupid rule that will rarely come up and people will all forget about. That doesn't do much. Like, that's the bottom line of this, folks. You can defend this all you want, but most of the time you don't hang out within 12 to 3 inches of your enemy. You charge them. You move up from generally like a decent distance away, get it within charge range, and then charge your opponent. That's what happens. Like, okay. Like, that's what's happening. And the ability is too wordy, too silly, like ridiculously caveated, and just overly complicated. It's bad rules writing. Bottom line. This is the head butcher doesn't make any sense, and it fights back is silly. 3 bad rules. 0 for 3. Congratulations. Totally nailed it. So yeah, but the Gorger's fine. All right, well, there's a lot of news. Is anything else in the news? Yeah, we're still in news.
I think we're finally done.
All right.
That's why I was trying not to talk much.
No, it's
all
fine.
Right.
It was worth
Keep
discussing.
Going. Yeah.
All right, let's go to some pick of the week.
Yep.
Travis, what do you want to share with everybody?
Yeah. So my pick of the week is the Terrain Essentials 3 campaign on My Mini Factory. They did, I think, 10 different terrain sets over the campaign about 2 months ago, and they've started releasing more and more. Today they released the elf terrain. They also have done a dwarf. There's a graveyard, ancient ruins, and then like city ruins so far. But there's a bunch of other ones. There's orcs. There's Vince has the link.
Link is in the description. Go check it out. Absolutely, lots of cool stuff. 100%. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And most of it fits on a fairly small 3D printer too, so that's nice.
Nice. Take that. Tyler, what do you want to share with everybody?
Yeah, so the Weird Knobs, the amazing wargaming club, AOS club in Austin, Texas, They have a Twitch stream that they've started up, the Weird Cast. The very first show was a Vault Wars GT prep battle report that they did just yesterday. So check that out. It's the classic matchup, Stormcast and Khorne. And it was a good game. Yeah, watched a little bit of it. I love their setup. They had some audio issues early on, but they got those worked out. So I think we got two of them coming, Joe and Jeff. I don't know if there might be some others, but I know at least Joe and Jeff. So shout out to those guys. Enjoyed the game. One of them is bringing a table for best table.
Oh wow!
We've got this award we'll get into, and he's been posting some photos on Weird Knobs on X, Twitter, name it whatever you want to.
Whatever this thing's called now.
It's looking fantastic. So yeah, that's all I got. I'm being good today. Just one.
Very nice.
So rarity. Enjoy it.
I refuse to change this little tiny bird in my overlay to the X symbol. It's going to be the bird forever. Okay, that's what this is. Haiti said, Vince, what would you prefer, the pit or the pot? Honestly, probably the pot. I have to think about it less. It's an easier thing to do, and it can like occasionally heal somebody, which is useful. That's my answer. Okay. For my own pick, I'm gonna shout out our good friends over at the Cult of Paint, who had a review of Scale Model Challenge of SMC. And there was some really, really amazing models shared there. They showed all of those. Congratulations to Mr. Eric Swinson, who took Best in Show for Fantasy and had an absolutely incredible model. I don't know if everybody saw his Loth. He was sharing it on social media for the first time. Loth, the demon spider queen of the Drow elves. It was an amazing model and just like a really incredible paint job. So they reviewed a bunch of the really awesome models there. There's a bunch of stuff I was oogling all weekend, so if you like cool and beautiful looking models, do check it out. Things of all scales and sizes and stuff like that. Linked down in the description. All right. Gentlemen, let's talk about some hobby time. Now, Tyler, I'm going to start with you because I imagine it's still 0 given the proximity of Vault Wars. Am I correct?
I mean, that's a reasonable guess, yes.
No, you added snow.
Oh, crap, I did do some hobby. That's right. Yeah, I added snow effects to some terrain, and it looks great. It was very complicated. I had to pour some glue, had to use some green stuff world, I think it's called, or something like that. Some of this snow stuff provided by Scott Sproul, Trav. And I couldn't buy it myself,
Sure.
because of a certain philosophy sometimes I'm known to be associated with. So yeah, man. Where's my props, Vince? That took a lot of effort.
I take it back. That counts.
Hard work.
That counts. Doing terrain counts. That is hobby. Putting snow on stuff.
At least 2 hours doing that the other night.
I have no pushback for that. I'm glad to see you back in the mix. I assume that post Vault Wars, we're back on the hobby train full time.
We are. Now, I want you to know, fair warning, there's going to be, you and I are a long time now. We're good friends. We know each other well.
Yes, Tyler, you are one of my good friends. That is correct.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm trying to not, don't want to make any assumptions here. There's going to be a, not necessarily lengthy, but there's going to be a research phase. Now, I was good. I didn't go through that the first time out of the gate, even though my predilections are to be very thorough with a lot of planning. Trav's a big fan of it. So, yeah, I'm being very long-winded here as well. So just get ready. I've got to plan a little bit to feel good about what's coming up. So that's part of it, man. There's just phases.
I want you to go through your process. I want you to also remember you're painting tiny plastic toy soldiers, not building the Empire State Building. Okay, like the amount of planning that is required should be kept reasonable to the project at hand. You're painting silver people with blue areas on them, so I mean, but just saying, plan accordingly. A
Nice.
lot of people will overplan and use that as an excuse to never actually then do work. So
Low odds of that happening,
Doesn't
clearly.
sound like
So
Tyler at all.
doesn't
no,
sound like
definitely
it, no.
not. Definitely not. All right,
Yeah.
Travis, what about you, buddy? What have you been hobbying on?
This week painted some tents, little terrain pieces.
Whoa.
Yeah,
I didn't know about that.
yeah.
Are is that a best table nomination?
No.
Okay.
I
All
don't
right.
I
Well,
don't
I
have
mean,
enough tents
oh,
to fill
okay.
out a circus or anything, but
I get you. Yeah.
just had them laying around and figured I'd get them done. So
Nice.
that's what I did.
Is that part of your NPE Cities of Sigmar army that you're
No,
running?
this is the Slaves to Darkness Bretonians.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's fine. Yeah, we don't have any locals that are threatening to quit the game over you running Slaves of Darkness, so that's probably
Yeah.
okay.
I
All right.
guess I got to go back to it.
That would be appreciated.
Nothing wrong with S2D. Nothing wrong with S2D. Also, shout out Smorgan said, "Perfection is the enemy of progress." Tyler, don't forget that golden rule. Yes, I like that very much. I like that
Love
very
you,
much.
Sam. Good
Uh,
words. Wise words.
yes, indeed, there is wisdom here. For myself, my hobby time, and this guy's like almost done. I've got a few more touch-ups I need to do on him, but I've been working on this thing. So this is a kit bashed model, in case that's not obvious. This is not a formal kit. This is my sort of mega knob guy, my orc boss, that is going to lead my giants in November at Holy Havoc. You have to have a warlord, and so this is my warlord. He has a machine gun and he has a chainsaw because those are cool, and he has smokestacks because he's a little Frankenstein machine, and he's a little albino stitched together Frankenstein orc. So
pretty awesome. Was that a rattling gun from a storm friend?
Yes, yeah. The core of this dude is a storm friend. Yes.
Storm friend, nice.
And then like the big chainsaw is from, I think it's from like a 40K Night kit or something, as are the little smokestacks and stuff like that. And,
Looks about right.
So,
yeah.
Yep. So that's him. He's meant to be the leader of my giants because you have to have I can't put like another Mega Gargant on the table as my warlord. You know, I've got like two of those and then this guy. So,
love it.
So yeah, he was very fun. Honestly, I think there won't be a video out of him because it was a lot of experimentation, but I think I will make a video painting another orc like this in talking about doing this kind of albino orc skin. I actually found some colors and mixes that I really liked. I started by doing some research and planning, Tyler. It took me about 30 minutes. Okay.
It's not
the
enough.
Appropriate amount of planning. Wherein I looked at different pictures of Azog from the Hobbit movies because he was like that pale-skinned orc, and looking at how that sort of the different ways that his skin looked in the different lights and things like that, and then kind of finding a mixture that I thought felt pretty good about that. So, yeah, that is the appropriate amount of planning for a thing like that. There you go, Tyler. Now you got your bar set. There you go.
Excellent. Yeah. Well, Castro, you'll be proud and happy to know that there's 2 boxes still sitting in my garage, unpainted, buddy. So, just trying to be consistent. We do have some nice photos that you're going to get to see here very soon, though, if you're nice. So, yeah.
I did not put those photos into the presentation, but I could bring them up somewhere if you like.
Well, like I said, I was questioning whether we're friends or not. So, I mean, it's all right. It's all right.
You sent me a lot of stuff. In traditional Tyler fashion, I had to make some cuts. All right. Speaking of which, hey, as we transition into our main segment, why don't you hit like or subscribe or do one of those things? Do you disagree with my Maw Pit take? Hit like because you think I'm wrong. Do you agree with it? Also hit like. I'll know the difference. Trust me. It's fine. Either way, it helps other people find the show, and we really appreciate it. And Green Mountain Model said painting all of my Cruel Boys like Azog. Yeah, I think it's worth a video. Like I have some Cruel Boys people sort of assembled and not painted, and I think that would be a really good look for a Cruel Boys army. That sort of albino orc look. All right, let's transition over here. where is Age of Sigmar at, the current meta and Vault Wars? And I thought it would be cool to kind of think and look and talk the current meta and have a discussion, and then let that inform us as we get into then looking at the lists and the breakdown and stuff like that at Vault Wars, right? Like, rather than just kind of jumping right in, this is a chance to get the foundation. Let's lay down some foundation first. Okay. So let's get into it. All right. Let's start with a little overview. As always. Let's talk about some recent moves. Some recent moves. What's happened recently? Well, we've had some battle scrolls. SBR, SPG, OBR, and then previously before that, GITS. Vol had some changes that have helped bring them in line, though most of them still doing well, still powerful, still in the conversation. Multiple armies have gotten some new battle tactics, which has had a direct impact, or which can theoretically have a pretty direct impact on win rate, if not play experience and fun, as I say here. Mm-hmm. I've never gotten a bonus battle tactic and thought, well, that game was more fun now. Which may be a challenge to the entire concept of battle tactics right there. That may be the sort of silver bullet I've been missing this whole time I've been railing against battle tactics for the past 2 years. Some armies have had some decent points moves. So I think of Stormcast, Skaven, but there's been many others. And the armies of renown are here. So Dawnbringers 2 brought us 4 armies of renown. At least 2 of them seem to be pretty strong. KO and Sons of Bahamut. So that's my sort of grounding. Is there anything I missed here, Travis? Is there anything else going on you think is worth sort of, you know, laying the foundation? Any other money movers that have been happening that set your stonks perception of the current meta?
No, not really. I think that gets most of it. We're seeing a lot of Khorne, a lot of Soulblight, a lot of Seraphon in most of the tournaments that I've been to, at least. So that's the meta at the moment.
Yep, agreed. Tyler, what about you? Your thoughts?
Well, so when you told us that you wanted to have this as a kickoff, I did take a look, and I mean, we're going to get into it in the next slide here.
Yep.
I've been pleasantly surprised by, in my sense, a greater amount of variety than we had seen for a little while. A greater amount of variety that is putting up some 4-1s and 5-0s. It was fantastic, actually. Was seeing a tremendous amount of variety. So yeah, we'll get into it, but I'm pleasantly surprised by where we are. Now, we're only a short while into the post-battle score, right? So we don't have a lot of data. Still small sample size for most of these things. But definitely encouraged. I'm hoping for the best, preparing for the worst, or planning for the worst with KO Expeditionary Force, and a little less so with SOB, but certainly that's strong. I would like to see a rules change, a rules errata for some of the nonsense that they can do involving terrain that we went over in one of our past shows.
Do you mean teleporting giants?
Teleporting giants.
Your whole army every turn, basically? Yeah.
Basically, yeah. I would like to not think that was their intention. But yeah, man, I'm not a fan of shooting multiple times, generally speaking, in this game.
Sure.
And so if folks want to check out an example of KO Expeditionary Force, just look at the latest member battle report of Season of War. It was their shortest game, I believe, in the history of the show. And there may have been a particular reason for that. So, yeah. But in general,
was somebody running the KO Expeditionary Force? And just double shot and leveled? That was it?
Pretty much.
Whole army moves like 24 inches. Everybody shoots. If half the people shoot again, enemies leveled. What's left charges, gets unleashed, and then half of those get unleashed on again. It's a good time.
Yeah.
I don't see what the problem is.
And I'm not a fan of the argument, well, there's other crap in the game that's imbalanced. That goes back to childhood. 2 wrongs don't make a right. I think most of us learned that at some point. So, yeah, not a fan of that perspective. But anyway, generally pretty positive on where we are at the moment.
Okay, good. Hades said, how would you adjust the wording of that rule considering Gargants may have allies on terrain? Well, one, I wouldn't care about the allies on terrain. Those just get smashed. That's number one. Like, don't put your allies on the terrain if you intend to smash it. Let's just start there. Two, the giants can't be on the terrain. I'd rewrite this ability probably from the ground up, but you just can't have the gargants actually touching the terrain. So hence they don't have to ever be picked up or set up or replaced or anything like that. That would just be a start. I'm sure there's multiple ways that we'd tackle it, but that'd be a way to start. So
Yeah.
Or just say this ability has no effect on SOB units.
Something like that, yeah. But then the problem is then you have to still move them, and how do you reset them up, and blah blah blah. So it's rules where you start in really intermingling the physical nature of the models we play with the actual thing you're trying to accomplish on the game board is where the game breaks, as we've seen every time we've played with that. Going back to the original banishment spell, when it was just like, I'll pick up your unit and throw them in the trash, basically.
Real quickly, Vince, this does relate to Vault Wars GT. So I'd love to hear folks what folks' perspective is on this, about under what conditions do you allow newer publications. So historically, I've been of the mindset of don't do it unless it has an errata. But then the studio generally is just taking often too long, in my opinion, to get erratas out the door. And so that it creates this ongoing difficult situation for TOs. So I'm curious to hear opinions on what people think is the ideal or the least worst way to approach these things, right? So we ended up making the call. We're allowing new Cities of Sigmar. We're not allowing any war scrolls that do not have actual models. So no Fusiliers, no Zenestra, etc. We've only got one Cities that's showing up, and it's actually a pretty fun, friendly COS list, I think. Trav, you probably agree. Like it's not crazy. Now we've got a couple of King Stomp. So they're going to be, whatever it's called, right? The Army of Renown. They're going to be doing the teleporting trick. And then we've got one KO Expeditionary Force showing up. So not a ton, but a little bit. I'll be interested to see how it goes. I don't know. Like, Vince, you know me well enough.
We also have the Trog one.
Yes, we do have the Trog one, which less worried about. Like that one seems generally fine.
Seems like it's playing fair Warhammer.
Exactly. Yeah. So, we made the decision to allow these things, but I hemmed and hawed personally about it. I think, Trav, you were on board with, like, that was essentially the consensus when we talked about this. So, yeah, I'm just curious to hear opinions about what folks would do under these circumstances, because this comes up all the time for TOs.
Sure. I think it's just a question of the values you're trying to express. I don't think there's a singular right answer, right? Like, the fun answer is you allow it.
Yeah.
Right? Because people want to play with their toys, and this is a game where we all play with plastic dollies.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's not make this more serious than it is. The reasonable answer is we shouldn't have to worry about this at all, because things shouldn't be releasing in a state where this is a concern, and we have to wait for a break fix in the first 2 weeks to 4 weeks to 6 weeks of a product's release before it's actually usable. Right. Like that's not a good user experience. Okay.
Yeah.
And the conservative answer that is probably reasonable if you're a TO who's like wanting to sort of maintain the most fairness across the board is nothing until an FAQ.
Yeah. Which is where I had been for quite a long while. And yeah, so we'll see. I'm hoping to not regret our decision, but I just wanted to be upfront and honest about this, because this has been an ongoing thing, certainly in my mind. And so I'll be curious to see how it goes.
And as you mentioned, UTOs can certainly make the call, like you did with COS, right? But like, where does that line get drawn?
Yeah.
What I mean by that is like, okay, let's say you fix the silly giant rule, right? You fixed anything in the KO? You locking them down? Because like the giant rule, you read it and you're like, okay, this is clearly they didn't think about this at all when they wrote it. They wrote this, they thought, haha, what a fun time, you get to smash terrain, and then they went home, and zero additional thought was put into that rule, right? We spotted that 10 seconds into reading it, that it was like absolutely sideways broken, right?
Yeah.
Whereas, like, what are you gonna do? You change something about Grunstock Expeditionary Force because it's just obviously too good, too strong? What do you change? You change the free movement, change the extra shooting. What about
Yeah.
cities? So what you are allowing, like the Alchemite Warforger at 90 points is like stupid. It's completely stupid.
Yeah.
You just move him up. It's like he's 120 points, right? Like you're just gonna get to the point where it becomes untenable. So you almost
Well,
have to say
exactly.
either
Yeah.
like either it's all in or it's all out.
Yeah. And
Right.
you know that I think there's been a lot of particularly egregious, stupid things in the game this year.
Mm-hmm.
So, and some of them continue. But yeah, anyway, I was just curious. Yeah, to bring it up while we're talking about this.
Yeah. Cygnus said the problem with that logic is that if GW ever releases a perfect book supplement that requires no FAQ errata, it will never be usable despite being perfect. It's funny. It's a funny joke. You know, I first of all, I don't see us having much chance of that occurring, because joking aside, and I don't mean that sarcastically, I just mean that like every book, every product will have an FAQ. Even if the rules were truly watertight, you're still going to have questions, because language is an imprecise method of communication, and people will just not like. There will be frequently asked questions. The actual thing FAQ stands for, right? And so even if you're not actually actively changing rules, i.e. errata, it's still good to have a question bank in there that's like, okay, in this situation, this is the way to read it, right? You can hedge against that stuff with good designer's notes and good language and stuff like that, but there'll almost always need to be some kind of literal FAQ
Yeah.
for everything, no matter what, no matter how well it's written. Okay. All right. Let's talk about some stats. So this was, I thought, an interesting table. This is all from Warhammer. So thank you, Warhammer, for this excellent data. And this is based on the Tactics of Andor battle scroll, so the more recent battle scroll, and filtering out all results with less than 20 representatives in the sample. So like that's why there's not every army here, right? So they are cutting out the things that are going to be too swingy in the statistics. Okay. What did you Travis? What did you think of this when you saw this?
Yeah, I was surprised Big Wall was so high up. First of all, they did get a new tactic, or they got what 3 new tactics, so that helped them a lot.
Because they got
but-
everybody's tactics.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
But I was kind of surprised they were right at 55. I figured they'd be more, in the middle. Let's see, Soul Blight. I figured they'd be a lot higher. I mean, they're still kicking butt. You still stack as many zombies as you can fit in a list, and still do quite a bit with was it Soul Pike? And now it's 3 units, but that still hurts when you spread it out enough.
Sure. How about that Stormcast at 54%?
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sorry,
exciting. With the Annihilators going down to 150, we're seeing a lot of those now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tyler, what was your
Vince,
read on this?
Well, real quickly on Stormcast. So
Yeah, sure.
yeah, about 2-3 weeks ago, I was looking and we had a bunch of 4-1s. I mean, they were just everywhere, and it was pretty good variety in the list with Stormcast. So, I mean, that battle tactic is obviously helping. It's not auto. I mean, there's the more than 6 away qualification. So it's every quarter you got to have a unit, right? Like you have to set it up, or it's a late game play, maybe an early game play. You have to maybe build your list for it. Yeah, that's really encouraging to see. With this, I mean, it reflects what I said earlier. A lot of stuff is doing pretty well. So going through Goonhammer, Mike over there doing a great job every week with his articles, analyzing the big events from the prior week. Last couple of ones, Mike has had events that are showing wide variety. So I made a note here going through it. Gutbuster Ogres, multiple lists. The Mortal Wound spam charging. We're seeing that. We're seeing like combined arms coming back a little bit, right? With some of the shooting cannons, Iron Blasters, that's what we're called. Nurgle, good lord. So everybody apparently got a memo that I missed out on, which is Glocken. Pick like maybe a Guo and Orgots or Blowab, or pick like 2 of the 3 Magaflords. Pick a Glocken, spam Plague Bearers. And then maybe
ironically not on this list, because not enough people have been playing it since to actually have them show up since the battle scroll. But I'm sure they'll show up, and my guess is they'll be firmly in the middle territory there, given recent results.
I've lost count of the number of lists that I've seen with that pattern. It's going, sometimes you'll see the Guo with the belt so they can get up and be Paling Host. So you can get up to the 7 magic number to get Sloppity as your first summon in battle round 1.
Sure.
So you're not having to wait for round 2, right? But some lists are even including Sloppity. Yeah, Nurgle is just really leaning into that anti-pile-in, just control play. Very, very heavy into the control play. And it's doing quite well. We've got Skaven, multiple Skaven that are doing well. Keegan Graves kicking butt. He's coming this weekend with a really interesting list, which we'll talk about. Ideneth, I've seen.
I had highlighted that one as well. Although overall their win rate is not great right now.
It is not great.
They're the lowest, like on both charts, by the way.
They're
the full chart and this one.
Yeah, they're one of those armies. I mean, we've talked this. Every army this applies to responds to player skill expression. I think that army in particular really does. It's at least it's always stood out to me as one of those. Ideneth, Eel spam, Namarti spam, or heavy Namarti. I've seen multiple heavy Namarti. A few Nighthaunt, Stormcast are all over the place. Alumnia with Lumineth, Alumnia with objective sitting. So John Anderson ran a really interesting Hero Hammer Alumnia list, counting as I've been waiting on that to make an appearance. I think that's really interesting. It's like Stormkeep from Stormcast. Trav mentioned Big Wah. Seeing multiple Arboys with a new 2x220 point value, kind of balancing. Anyway, not to go a lot of details, but Big Wah are adjusting and doing well. Cruel Boy's still up there. Yeah, dude, just like I could go on and on. There's so much that I was seeing that it's really cool.
Yeah, I think we are seeing quite a variety, and in fact, let's unpack that a little more on the next slide. This is a little small, okay. So I'm sorry, everybody, but really you don't need to get the individual details to still understand the sweep of the thing. So this is faction popularity by results. And again, this is from the 8th of October, which is the last time they ran their stats on Warhammer. But this is only inclusive of Battle Scroll Tactics of Andor matches. So tournaments that were using the newest Battle Scroll. Okay. And the key here to look at is yellow and red over on this side of the chart. Red means they had 4 wins, right? Not count of 4 wins. Yellow is count of 5 wins. Okay. And you can see, if you look at and to me, what you're really looking for is the red. Because everybody who was in the red was, in some kind of, was in position to go 5-0 realistically, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, that could easily be just like a final match away or something like that. And when you cut it like that, here's sort of your line for 5. It's like traveling up here, right? For 5 count games. And you can see a lot of people have at least 1 or 2 or 3, 4 ones, something like that. Like there's quite a lot of armies that have dipped some red. Interesting armies that have not since the newest Battle Scroll. Heed Knights, who is capped out at 3 wins since the Battle Scroll.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because LaRon's not playing it.
Sure.
There was a not counted for this in the last weekend, I believe. We actually fenced it was a Hero Hammer. I don't know if you saw that, Slanesh, with Selesky and Shalaxi and Keeper of Secrets. Very weird list. But yeah, that went 4-1, I believe. But anyway, yeah.
And so and that's, I think, was the first one that did so since of the armies using the new Battle Scroll. I'm pretty sure that's the first one that broke the 3. I don't think there was anything else. I was looking around and looking because Slanesh was sort of like it had been over 55%. Like it had been kind of over the sweet spot for a little while. So that's an interesting one not to have any red. The Skaven one is very funny because they have 1 5-0, but then no 4s.
Yeah.
So congratulations to that person who's doing a lot of work to try to drag this average up. And then you've got the Disciples of Tzeentch capped, Fire Slayers, Cities, which that's not surprising at all, and Bone Splitters. And both Cities and Bone Splitters, like just standalone Bone Splitters, no one's playing it really. I mean, these are very small representations, right? Gets still the most popular faction with 45 results, and then Blades, Soulblight, Stormcast, Seraphon. Very much in line, Travis, with what you were saying, right? You're seeing a lot of Blades, seeing a lot of Soulblight, seeing a lot of Seraphon. And then you're always going to see a lot of Gits and Stormcast because they're just 2 of the most popular armies that people love, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So that top 5 just groks to me completely. Yeah, I thought it was interesting. The Stormcast with no 5-0s on this, but a healthy number of 4-1s.
Yeah, man. I don't know if surely we've had a 5-0 this year. I
Oh, this
can't
year?
think of
Yeah.
This is
Stormcast. Stormcast.
We have.
since October 8th.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking. Yeah, I can't remember who has done it, but it's been few and far between. I know that.
Sure.
5-0 Stormcast, but anyway, yeah, ton of 4-1s recently. Sylvaneth is not doing great so far into this new season. How many games have we played? 24, 44%. So they've tapered off. We've got 4 folks, I believe, playing Sylvaneth this weekend, so we'll see how things go there. I had a hard time, just for transparency, getting there with hard mode eligibility for Sylvaneth, particularly with the nature of the lists that are being brought. So yeah, not quite there with hard mode on Sylvaneth, but I found that notable. What else do we have here? Cruel Boy's still doing well. Fire Slayer's very small representation. Gavin went 5-0 with Marathi and the Bow Snakes because he's Gavin, and I've heard of him now, so we're good. And Beasts of Chaos, we've got some 4 wins in there, but no 5-0s. Anyway, yeah, I love this chart.
This is a great chart. I want to point out some other fun, interesting little things because I was looking this over for a while before the show. Okay. So the purple on the opposite side is 1 win. So you're 1-4, right? Look at this insane count of Gitz players going 1-4. Like they just cover Gitz players run the gamut, right?
Yeah.
Like you have 3 5-0s, 3 4-1s, a lot of 3-2s. Like what is that? 12, 13 3-2s, 13 3-2s, right? Like 12 or something, 2 3s, and then just like a ton, 11 or whatever, 1-4s, right?
Right.
Blades of Corn is the 0 winner. The most 0-5s in BOK.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting. And then who was the other fun one here? There we go. Caradron Overlords. There is 2 people who went 0-5, but no one went 1-4. They're at least getting to 2 wins on the shooting. If you win a game, you're gonna win another game.
Yeah.
No 1-4s. So yeah, I thought this was interesting, but it does show, like, if you just look at the red, anybody who's getting to 4-1, that's a good position, right? Because as we said at the top, that means you're in a competitive position. And my goodness, there's a lot of red on this. Like, really, it's legitimately a lot of red. Like, if you think red and yellow, most every army has some touch, right?
Yeah.
So that's a good sign.
Even a couple Night Haunts. Saw some 4-1s with Night Haunts. Few 4-1s with Night Haunts. So that was pretty exciting. Dougie Fresh, we mostly have been seeing Knights of the Empty Throne, seeing some hosts of, well, not I'd say hosts of the Everchosen, Knights of the Empty Throne, and then some Capalas thrown in. And
yeah.
not Trav, not enough morons / brave souls.
Running Legion.
Running Legion,
Sure.
give it a shot, people. You can do well with it. I can't, but you might be able to.
I went 4-1 with Legion.
That doesn't count.
And then went 1-4 the next tournament. So
that's
it was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
5 years ago, Legion.
What are you? You said you're working on your like Bretonnian S2D. What are they? Or do you have a plan for how you want to run them? What's up?
Right now it's Cabbalists.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Nice.
Casting is too good right now.
Sure.
Put Hoarfrost and stuff.
I mean, Magic is dumb, but I respect you for the choice. It makes sense in the current season. I hate Magic and will always continue to hate Magic and hate that we have a whole season dedicated to it that I have to suffer through for a year. But that's all right. I will respond by not running Magic armies. 0 casters, baby. All right. Predictions. Let's make some predictions. I left some space here for us to fill in other ones. Okay. Let's talk about the meta and how it's going to evolve. We're gonna lay some predictions on the table here. Some of the armies of renown will make their presence known strongly if not adjusted or answered. Like, if we don't get adjustments, this FAQ that fixes stupid crap with Broad and with the KO, people are going to start playing these things in mass.
Yeah.
And like, they will start putting up results that are skewed. I believe that to bullet to bone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Seems reasonable.
Because we're in a place where some armies, I like Skaven, but I could say SCE as well, have seen some very significant points drops on certain units, we're going to start seeing very strange lists showing up. And I've seen a couple of these. So, for example, the Skaven list that caught my eye was, I think it went 4-1, was a triple towers list, 3 towers.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. I saw that one as well. I'm trying to think. That's a well-known player who did that. Somebody in UK did that, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah,
so this is like basically by triple towers, I mean 2 screaming bells and a plague furnace, since they can all move on their own now. I mean, thank God, finally, it's mission accomplished. But that combined with the fact that they've gotten so cheap, because let's face it, screaming bells are terrible. Like, they are just bad units. It doesn't matter. People are now using them as chaff. Like, that's your chaff, is two screaming bells sitting out front, because if people have to come and hit them and that they don't kill it, you're just going to roll and crack it yourself and summon a Vermin Lord.
Right. Yeah.
And like, that's all it is. It's just like, you don't care about the guy on top. You don't care about any of its rules. You don't care about ringing the bell. It's just a thing you're forcing your opponent to go attack so you can crack it and get a free Vermin Lord out of it. Hilarious. Hilarious. Yeah. What a great use for this classic piece of the Skaven army. But you're going to see sort of strange lists like that. You mentioned Annihilators. So like Annihilator sort of skewing lists with like a lot of that stuff floating around. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. The one and only Jack Armstrong, Vince, has picked up Annihilators. So that it's hit the Jack Armstrong zone, buddy.
Then you know it's good.
Tom Mosley, he ran the Triple Towers.
Oh, there you go. Yes. Very nice.
Yeah, what event was that? That was at the Justice Series GT. Yeah, Richie and Company's event.
Nice.
So.
Nice. Assistant. Oh, yeah, INEF. That's another good example in the ways you mentioned, like some of those things coming down. But yeah, I think all of these, you're going to see unusual sort of skewed lists because of that'll be competitive, but will be weird skewed lists. Like, Tyler, if your dream was like this Highlander thing, some of these armies are just not going to live in that space, right? They're just not.
Yeah.
Because the way they're competing is by spamming the now units that have gotten cheap enough to be of some kind of value.
Yep.
Yeah. This isn't the show for us to continue our ongoing discussion around debate around spam. One thing we didn't talk about last time is the critical mass effect, right? That was embodied by Sentinels. So whenever that book came out, I ran 2x10 Sentinels. They were fine at that. They were fine, right?
Yes.
And then, of course, it became 2x20 or whatever. And so a number of these war scrolls have this critical mass effect that happens. So simply the idea of like point these things, that points are going to do it, just meaning that I think that critical mass effect can make the spam challenge more difficult than it may appear to address.
Yep.
So anyway, but that's a whole different discussion about, can't stand it. Hate spam. But hot take, hate spam.
That's reasonable take.
Else?
And then my last thing was the field of armies that can compete in the 4-1-5-0 place is actually quite wide right now, and I think it will be pretty wide, which is great. That is a good thing. All right, Travis, I'm going to swing over to you first. What did I miss here? What other predictions might we want to lay down? Anything else you see on the horizon?
Probably some more debuffs on Soulblight, just because so many people are still playing it, and I think it's still going to do good no matter what they've done so far. I maybe increase zombies a bit more, but I mean, the building blocks of the army are still the same. As many skeletons or as many zombies, and I'm going to sit on an objective and come back, basically.
Yep.
So
It's still super recursion objective board control armies, and every time we've seen that, it's always a dominant strategy, because if you just like, I have a ton of models and they
yep.
come back and it's just impossible to move me. And with SBG, it's also, and I can pretty easily just straight dunk 5 out of 5 battle tactics.
Yeah.
Right. So I think you're probably right there.
Very cute, Hades.
I also think Seraphon, they might see a debuff coming up with how many mortal wounds they did to Tyler at Flying Monkey Con.
I was good. I barely talked about that on this show.
But it scarred him deeply. We could all tell.
Yeah. He might not talk about it on the show, but I hear it enough.
Sure. We could all feel the emotional pain residing right below the surface. So
travel 6 hours for an event. Game 1. Before you've touched a model. 50 damage. How's that sound? 42 mortal wounds? Sounds great. Yeah. Sign me up for the next tournament with that, please.
Sure.
Hey, I lost Gotrek to some skinks, so who's hurting more?
That sounds about right. Predictions?
Yeah.
You want me to say something intelligent or probably not intelligent? Well, Hades is getting me wound up. It doesn't take much, Hades, to get me wound up right now. Keep it up.
Yeah, sure.
I do love Ultragolas secretly, but don't tell anybody, despite how painful they can be sometimes. Tracy's got a great list this weekend. Lots of trogs. Beautiful. I think we're gonna definitely continue to see 4-1s, 5-0s across a lot of factions. Stormcast is unfortunately at the point of you're going to see multiple different lists running various spam, Vexlor spam, Thunderstrike, Chariots, Stormstrike, Chariot spam, Annihilator spam.
And we know we're on the edge of a new Army of Renown with Stormcast. I mean, that has been said in the Dawnbringers 3 preview, so which is going to clearly be dragon focused, right? So that could open that door as well.
Yeah. I hope we see, I mean, I don't know if this, predictions or hopes, whatever, that some of the melee war scrolls and Slaanesh get some point drops so that we can balance things out a little bit.
Thank you.
It is interesting.
Thank you.
we have not been seeing them put up any results. We've got a bunch of Blitzbarb Archers showing up this weekend in one of the lists, so we'll see how that goes. And Stu Lemming, I can't remember Stu's last name. And then what else? What else events do we have here that we should? Night Haunt. Seems like they've been struggling. We've been seeing some results with them. Big Wall, very strong right now with the battle tactics situation being on easy mode for them. I like the place that Lumineth is in. I'm just saying random things here at this point since I didn't prepare any particular predictions for you.
Once Cities is actually legal and fully released, I think it's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, I think that's going to drop like a bomb in the meta. Yeah. Absolutely. Yep, I agree. Especially if we don't get some pretty significant changes around to what's currently on offer in the book, as it were.
Right. Yeah. I accidentally had an MPE list last night.
Oops.
Accidentally. Tyler said my first list was too soft, so I changed some things and went too hard.
That's against crack addicts, plastic crack addicts, not newbie. It's not a newbie, a newer player that we're trying. Okay, all right. You get me wound up.
I planned to play on you, and you switched on me.
I did switch on you. Zinch is in a weird place.
Yeah.
So for some reason, Vince, in my mind, this book, they have historically been reticent, or they've ignored a number of the war scrolls in this book have not gotten point adjustments over the years, right? Like, I don't know.
Siege is always in a weird place. It's a cheater book. It's hard to balance. It's got a lot of weird different things. A couple of times where they did get somewhat aggressive, remember things went sideways fast. So think about your little sky sharks, right? They dropped those guys down too low once, and it was suddenly just like, and now there's 24 of them on the table. And everybody's just sailing over everything, doing mortal wounds. It was like, oh God, what happened? We just dropped them 20 points, and all of a sudden they just flooded onto tables. So I think there's just it's the Magic season, it's the Magic book. It doesn't feel like it should need help, and yet here we are, right? Where it's just not putting up the results. So it's a strange one. And yes, dear, I will both answer you and say to my wife, thank you for giving me those dice early. I started playing my new character that those dice were for, and I didn't want to wait like a month. And my wife was very kind and gave me those dice that I had requested for my birthday early. My new special dice for my new special character. Okay. So,
Amazing. She's the best.
yes, she is. She is very good. All right. Hey, tell you what. Let's talk about Vault Wars, shall we? Let's get it. Let's stop talking about the generic, and let's get into the specific. Let's see what's coming up this weekend. We've talked about the meta. We've laid down some groundwork, right? Now let's see how that manifests. Okay. Assistant Ref said, I think you mean the anti-magic season. You're not wrong. That's what I think it is, yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, quick overview. This is this coming weekend. What do you got, 54 players? Is that what we're dealing with here?
Indeed.
54, yeah.
Okay. At Metagames Unlimited in Springfield, Missouri. The URL is right there. This is using differential scoring with a max of 170 tournament points available. Army list 10, battle 100, paint 30, sports 25, favorite opponent 5. Tiebreakers are battle points, battle tactics achieved and denied, and grad strategies achieved and denied. Attacker defender. Roll off. Winner chooses to be attacker defender. Defender chooses territory. Attacker deploys first. Terrain preset by the TOs and marked as defensible, impassable, and or obscuring. Parts of a terrain feature 4 inches or taller are impassable, mysterious terrain in use unless both players agree not to use it. Okay. And then battle plans, you got 5 of a possible 7. Every step is forward, Fountains of Frost, Geomantic Pulse, limited resources, no risk without reward, Power Flux, and Spring the Trap. I like most of those, so I think that's pretty good. It's a good list. It's a good list. Okay. So that's kind of our basics of what's going on here, what people would be building into. And then Tyler or Travis, whoever you want, I'm going to throw it over to you guys. Talk about the, I want to talk about the awards. Why did you do the awards you were? Maybe Travis, maybe you talk generally, and then Tyler, maybe you talk about Highlander and what that is.
Sure.
How's that sound?
Yeah, so general, we got best all around. It's the person who had the most points total, basically. Won most games, got the most painting points, and everybody thought he was a good guy, or didn't think he was a jerk at least. Then we have best general. That's the person who basically won every game or got as many points as possible. And then Highlander, which is one of our special ones. You want to talk about that, Tyler? It's kind of your
take
idea.
us through Highlander.
Well, maybe I'll do that at the end because I've got a lot to say, obviously, about Highlander. We'll come back to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you get a sword if you win it. How about that?
Pretty cool.
Yes.
Pretty cool. I like swords.
Yeah.
A lot of swords in this room.
You are known to like swords, yes.
Best in the Grand Alliance, kind of a normal one that most tournaments do. Hard mode, which is kind of we did it last year and had a lot more options on armies that were considered hard mode. It's the ones that you build a list that's basically off meta. It's you're building a list with teeth, but not necessarily fangs. You're not going for a this is the net list that everybody's bringing, or this is something that probably is going to go 5-0. You're looking to have a good time. You're seeing how well you can do with sub-optimal units.
Yeah.
And we'll see how that goes. And I think we have about 8 lists that we've picked that are eligible for this one.
Yeah.
And we'll just kind of keep track of how they do. And then best tactician. This one, I think it's new for us this year, but
John Thomas Award, Trev.
Yeah, exactly, the John Thomas. Yeah. Last Vault Wars, he completed all 25 battle tactics.
Every single one. Yep.
In all of his games. So we thought that deserves a award because it's not necessarily easy.
Yeah. We didn't give him anything for his accomplishment last year.
Yeah. Well,
but
we realized after the fact, yeah.
Other than saying, well done. Well done.
Yeah. Look at you. Then best painted, we have 2 paint judges who will walk around at lunch on the first day, check out your armies, tell us how they think you did. Player's choice, the best painted army by the players, and then best table is one that we started last year as well, where anyone can submit a table of terrain and the mat and all that kind of stuff, and the players vote which one they think looks the best. Best sport.
We need this more in the community.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean,
love
for us,
this award.
it's helped build our stable of tables too.
Yeah.
'Cause I've done 2. One's actually good.
Thank you for your honesty.
Bryce has done what, 4 or 5, maybe 6.
Oh man, yeah, 4 or 5. Yeah, he's been on a roll.
Wow.
He
It's amazing.
that slave labor is it's a good price. Sorry, that's probably not very PC, but it's his joke. I'm just repeating it.
Sure.
But we've got a few people this year coming from out of town bringing tables, so that's pretty neat. Nice excitement in the community. Then we've got favorite opponent. Everybody knows how that kind of votes. And then cleanest opponent is kind of one that we feel should be in more tournaments. It's the player who played the best Warhammer. It's somebody who played by the code of conduct. They were on time. They knew all their rules. They corrected your rules when it was beneficial to your opponent, that kind of thing.
Yeah, you do that a lot, right, Travis? You do that a lot, don't you? You're well known for.
Yeah, I've been known to get a lecture from you about being a better person, but
Okay, all right.
But I'm not going for this award, obviously. But it's somebody who is a good opponent, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the awards.
Very nice. All right, Tyler, let's talk about Highlander.
Yes. All right. Highlander. So for the Gen Alpha, Gen Zs, folks who have not seen the TV series, the movies, there can be only one famous line from the series, the show. Highlander, we've got a replica longsword for the player who does the best. Most tournament points using an army list with 9 or more different war scrolls, no duplicate war scrolls. Endless spells and invocations do not count. Yes, you can run your warband and count for 2 war scrolls. And we have, I think, 20 by my count.
Yeah, 20
Travis,
of the
right?
54 lists qualified according to the data you sent me. Yes.
That just puts a smile on an ETO's face. When most people, unlike one of our collaborators, are not a grump or a grouch, and are not giving you a hard time about trying to do something different, not to name any names. We love him. And yeah, I'm so excited about this. There's a lot to say about it, Vince. I don't know if this is the time to do it. Maybe when we get into the list, we can talk more about it. The first thing is this is an experiment, right? So obviously, one of my peccadillos is wanting to see more variety in list. There are some armies that can be highly competitive and have a lot of variety, like Gitz, Khorne, Seraphon. Some of these armies happen to be very good in the game right now. Some of these armies happen to be highly played in the Midwest. Many players who are already like Khorne players coming to our tournament. But in general, yeah, I'd love to get into some thoughts on initial learnings, like what we're seeing so far from these Highlander lists, because I think it's fascinating. And would love to see more tournaments do something like this.
Nice.
But yeah, very excited about this, if you can't tell.
I think that's really, I love the idea. I think it's great. I love sub contests like this in awards where it's actually guiding list building, where you have to think about it sort of, from the inception of the thing. And obviously you guys have shared this. It's been part of the pack forever. So people could plan to it, and everything like that. I love the idea of showing up with a sub goal. Like, sure, I'm trying to do well or whatever,
Right.
but now I'm really going for this. This is my thing that I care about. And carving out more space for people to have the individual things that they care about. And it's the same thing hard mode also does. Gives people more ways to engage with the tournament. And regardless of what they end up doing, they feel like they're still playing for something, right?
Yep.
And so,
totally.
Yeah. People like winning swords too.
Winning swords is pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
It's totally opt-in, right? So yeah, this does not have to work for everybody. Most armies in the game could be eligible for this. Some armies will be better at it than others, but it's opt-in, right? You don't have to do it. It's just there, as you said. So yeah, I'd love to see again more the Highlanders show up at more events. I think it adds a lot to the scene. But
Yeah, and just to touch on something like, yes, there is some armies where this is like either really, really hard or just like not feasibly possible. The
sure,
easy answer here is something um, uh, like Sons of Badmont, right? Like the number of
right,
scrolls just doesn't exist. You can't have 9 different war
yeah,
scrolls. I mean, theoretically, with the even with the goblins in there, you can't
You
get
get
there.
this 7.
Yeah,
mm,
exactly. So like, and that's fine. Like, it's fine. Like, who cares? Who cares that like there's a couple armies that can't do it? There's other things they could play for, right?
right,
There's other things they can do. It doesn't need the fact that it doesn't include every single army doesn't make it any less cool as to what it does for the whole thing. Yeah, like FEC or and Iron Jaws would have a challenge. Like I think Iron Jaws does have 9 scrolls now with the new scrolls. They can finally do it. They couldn't in
yeah,
the past, but
Mm-hmm.
post Dawnbringers 2, they actually can do this now, which
hmm
is cool.
yeah,
Um, assumingly, I think FEC will probably be able to post whenever they get an actual 3.0 book if
mm,
sort of what we've seen here is any prediction, assuming they get
right.
the Iron Jaws treatment, which we all hope they do.
One little thing about the nine, so that means you're not able to put yourself into a one drop. The best you can do is a two drop with Battle Regiment. So you can get up to 8, right, if you have Behemoth with Battle Regiment. So one little thing, Vince, I've told you before, went through all of the factions in the game a while back, and just 9 seemed like the right number to where you're actually
Yep.
requiring to get more variety, some actual list composition differences with enough factions. Again, not everybody is going to be affected meaningfully by this, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the important thing to understand in there is you did not pull that number out of like,
No.
just like out of the air.
Right.
That was
Yeah.
again, that was based on, looking at research, looking at the armies, looking at what could we reasonably achieve, what's going to actually lead to high
Yeah.
variance, that kind of
Hours
thing.
of research,
Yep.
just
Yep.
hours and hours for great execution.
Sure.
Yeah, that's how you do things. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Vault Wars stats. Let's talk some stats. Travis was nice enough to prepare some stats for
Oh.
us. So thank you, Travis. Here we've
Yep.
got it first. Our factions representing, with Blades of Corn and Slaves to Darkness both clocking in at 7. The big winners there, and then Gloomspite and Stormcast both coming in at 5, and then Skaven, Soulblight Gravelords and OBR at 4, and then Sons of Badmont and Sylvaneth at 3, and then it kind of drops from there. So yeah, what'd you think about this spread, gentlemen?
It would have been pretty, but then a Sylvaneth player dropped, and we added a Sons of Behemoth, so that's why it's
Yeah,
a little
yeah.
off.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah.
I gotcha. It's all good. It doesn't have like a bar chart with a little bit of variance is a good bar chart. That's what you want to see. I mean, what do you guys think about this? You had mentioned, so let me go here real quick. What is this? Things not showing up? Who's
Yeah.
not here?
We're
Let me bring
missing
you over.
Disciples of Sinch, Flesh Eaters, Cruel Boys, Big Wad, Bone Splitters, Daughters of Cain, and Fire Slayers.
Yeah, yeah. That's just that alone speaks volumes, I think.
Yeah.
And honestly, if you told me that list, I'm like, okay. The only thing that surprises me would be that cities isn't in that list, but that's because you allowed it with
Sure.
the limited range, as it were.
Right.
Yeah. Somebody asked me this week, what's the rarest army in the Midwest? And so I looked at the last 3 or 4 GTs, and that was Daughters of Cain. They didn't
Yeah.
show up at any of the last 4. So
It's a challenge
That's
right now. That army just
yeah.
does not play into the current meta at all. At all.
well, shout out to Dale Johnston, I believe his name is, for Avatars of Cain, Vince. There's somebody who's been on your show talking about Avatars of Cain for a long time, about how good they are, how they need to be ran more. It's probably Tom. Tom probably was saying that. And yeah, so I think there might be something to it. Just look at some other war scrolls in that book.
I understand. I'm just saying, like it's tough. It's tough.
That's fair. That's fair.
Like relying on magic and you have no good casters to do any of your like combat buffs, and your units are all made of paper in an attrition meta. It's like, oh boy. It's just that's hard. Okay. I was happy to see 4 Skaven players showing up. These bold, brave rats. These people are my heroes. I'm here for it. The Gloomspite gets players representing, as always. Like I said, GS, like Gloomspite and Stormcast, I think that's just like, that just shows up. You can't stop it. It's always going to be there. Those two.
And Slave. They're pretty popular too.
Exactly. S2D, another mega popular army, right? That's just like, you say you got a tournament, your first 3 players that show up are like Gloomspite gets, Stormcast, and a Slaves to Darkness player, and they're like, we're ready to go. They're just like, if you just randomly picked an AOS player, they'd be playing one of those 3 armies, right?
Right. I mean, I thought guys this matched pretty well. The data that we're seeing from Warhammer stats, a few things were off, right? Like maybe a smaller number of Seraphon than you'd expect on average. I can't recall a Big Wa. I'd have to go back and see what was Big Wa? 24, decent number, not a huge number, 34. But everything else is ogres. We a little surprised we didn't see many ogres show up. Do we even have a single? I think we've got.
Yeah, we got Michael Morley doing his ogres.
Mike, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, he's running monster trucks. Would have loved to have seen some Gutbusters. They're pretty popular in the Midwest and U.S. in general. Nurgle as well. A little surprised we didn't see more than at least one Nurgle. Jeff Nauman, TO of Gateway Open. He always runs Nurgle, so he's bringing them. He's the only one though. Thought we might see a Glotkin with the Magath Lords. But yeah, generally pretty spot on. What would have expected.
Yeah.
And then drops. This was a fascinating stat. So looking at that Highlander, it had an effect, right?
Absolutely.
Like you can see it here in the stats. Your point of being like, well, the going 9 separate scrolls means you can't be 1 drop as easily. Most of the time in a tournament, when you look, it's like 1 drop, everything else, right? And here, 2 drop way up above everything else, because that's sort of the minimum you can be and still qualify for Highlander. And the fact that more than a third of your lists are Highlander lists, not that they're all 2 drop, there are Highlander lists that are more than 2 drop, of course. Yeah. But it set that floor, and you really see that in effect in having a place there, which is pretty cool. There's only like 8 1 drops, I think. Yeah. I mean,
it's working.
Overall, it's great. I assume the Skaven player is the 12 drop.
I think it's Khorne. I think most of the Khorne players went pretty high drops.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That tends to check out. Yeah, they tend to, at least in our experience.
Because who cares? You're just murderless anyways. It's fine.
John was 11 drops with his Skaven. I don't know if any other Skaven were beating him. Just looking here real quick, but yeah, we can keep going.
Yep. So overall,
it was Skavens. Keegan Graves is the 12 drop.
Okay, nice.
Good man. 12 drop is where Skaven wants to be. 12 to 14 drops, you're in the sweet spot for Skaven.
He's got some tasty. I'll just mention real quick, just in case we don't talk about it. Maybe we will. Did you pick out Keegan?
Yeah, we can hit his list. We can hit his list. Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, Tyler. I looked at every Skaven list first. That was
all right. First. I mean, I figured.
I am a simple man. Okay.
All right, good. I'll save that tech talk. He's got a nice surprise in his list. Nice little combo. So that was really encouraging to see. Yeah, the drop count being affected there. Love that. Lots of Battle Reg. 44, 15 Warlord, 14 Andy Acolytes. That's a pretty good number.
Yeah.
That's Go ahead.
Let's go here. Let's take a look specifically. Let's talk about our actual counts of Grand Strats and battalions, because I thought this was interesting as well. This was included in here. So Battle Reg still the king at 44, but again, it's not as easily allowing people to go straight to 1 because of the Highlander thing. Right. Putting some soft counter pressure there. You didn't change a rule. You didn't restrict anybody. You just said, here's an extra incentive, and people responded accordingly. You love to see it. Yep. Warlord at 15 and Andorran Acolytes at 14. Neither of those surprising. And then just then the cliff.
Yeah. Indeed. Yeah.
Right. So
Trav, I can't even remember who took Wizard Finders. I know they showed up, but I
Corn.
didn't actually
Corn.
cluck. Corn? Okay. Yeah. I think we may have had a Stormcast, at least one Stormcast with Vanguard. Obviously, we've got 2 Redemption Brotherhoods, that's Stormcast. Got Slaves of Darkness in there, and Ironjaw's in there. Regiment of Noun, I think that might have been one of the Suns players with the Gits. And yeah, good to see that Acolytes number pretty high. I mean, obviously, Vince, you know that I've been saying that, thinking that is often worth consideration going to 3-drop rather than just the 1-drop.
yes,
We've
I
had
love
some
when
debate
people
about that.
take it because then I outdrop them since I generally
Yeah.
build to 2-drops. I'm here for
Right.
it. And then I like to watch them roll that dice every turn and go, oh, I didn't get it.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to put you in your place sometime.
It's really fun to watch. It's one of my favorite things when they're like, oh, didn't get it. And I'm like, oh, it's a shame.
Spellcasting Savant, no surprise there. That's the
Popular
gosh,
one.
guys. What was my brain? The grand strategies last season has just completely left my brain. I whatever the popular one. That's what we got going on with Spellcasting
Take what's
Savant.
theirs or whatever.
Take
Yeah,
what's
take
theirs. That's what it was. Yeah.
But just as many people want to kill that one wizard.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah, you've got
Nice.
Savant at 11 and then kill all the wizards at 10, right? Which
Yeah.
is just like, right, basically the same number for our purposes here. And then Overshadow at 9. And then again, the Cliff, right? And then that's where it comes down to then a bunch of singles and stuff like that. So, yeah.
This generally, yeah, I would say matches all of our expectations of what we would see out of the season. Those 3 at the top. Baron Escape can be hard because if somebody's just got like a little unit, right, that they can put within the center of the battlefield, 6 inches sitting in the battlefield, you don't have a way to completely zone out the center of the battlefield at that point in the game. And then, sorry, you failed your battle tactic or you failed your grand strat. But yeah, I tried out Baron Escape a few times. It's not the easiest thing in the world unless you're just
I
nuking
tried it at Flying Monkey and didn't get it any time.
anytime.
Yeah. It's tough. It really is tough. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and honestly, Slaughter of Sorcery can be pretty hard too. Like, it's easy to you often take it if you are either running one wizard who's going to tend to suicide play or you don't have any wizards at all. But people will protect their wizards a lot. It can be like a really tough one to get unless you're playing something very offensive or shooty or highly mobile or whatever where you're just going to you stand a high chance to table them. One of the problems with Slaughter of Sorcery is it tends to reward you only when you're already in a very dominant position. So like it's never going to be the grand strat that you're like, oh well, unless they also showed up with no wizards and then they kick your butt, right? You just get it for free. But it's never going to be one that's like, oh, I was losing, but I still get my grand strat, right? And some of them you can still be in that place. So, and that's the challenge with Slaughter. You have to be both already winning and then win more, right?
Or suicide your wizards.
What's that?
Or just suicide your wizards.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Yes. Okay. All right. And then finally, characters. This was a really interesting one you included. Obviously, the interesting part to me here is our 2 winners, which is there are 7 Blades of Corn players.
Yep.
There are 6 Scarbrands. So that means 1 Corn player was like, nah.
Don't need them. Don't need
them. Everybody else is on the Scarbrand train. Yes.
I'm curious who the hell that was. Oh, okay, I got it. It was Bob Martin. Good job, Bob. All right, excellent.
Yeah, for being that.
A cockatrice instead.
Yeah.
Gross in a different way. And then Be'lakor right beneath that at 5. Again, completely unsurprising. Be'lakor, Mr. I can fix it. The answer to most any problem.
Maybe.
And most of them, it's not in slaves. He's in everyone else's army.
Yeah.
Get good at rolling 3-ups.
That guy visits. He's been visiting around the world, all over the place. He's the current like S2D diplomat. He's constantly passing the Knight and Cantor on their various diplomatic journeys out to other armies. And then finally you got a lot of 2s like Archon the Black and Belladama, the Celestin Prime, Draika, Catacross, and so on.
So there's somebody that I was surprised missing from this list. You guys know? You got a guess?
Who do you think's missing?
Glotkin.
Well, I mean,
Glockin, yeah, that
there's
would
only
be
one
one,
Nurgle
but
player, right?
only one
So,
Nurgle.
Yeah.
No Gotrick.
oh,
No.
I think Gotrick
Yeah,
is another
we
one.
had what 7 Go Treks at Flying Monkey.
He's all over the place. Yeah, and he's
Yeah.
been all over the place in the meta for a little while. Yeah, this has been the season of Gotrick. And yeah. A little surprised.
eh,
Fair
eh,
enough though.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I've always found him very problematic, honestly, to just like actually utilize in a way that pays dividends is my honest answer.
Great. I think he's great with KO. KO can take good.
Let me tell you what the absolute crime is on this sheet, Tyler. This is the other thing I wanted to address. We got 4 Skaven players. 4.
Oh yeah.
We got one Slink Skittershank in this situation. The other 3 of you, what are you doing with your lives? Not bringing Slink, the man, the myth, the legend, the rat.
Yeah.
Like
It
Slink
gets
is
old
where it's
agreeing
at.
with you. It really gets old agreeing with you, but I gotta agree with you. I played against that little something or other, and Alex, infamous Alex Cotter, local player. Nobody locally should be giving me crap about my dice rolling ever again because this man exists. This man has the greatest luck known to mankind when it comes to dice rolling. He claims to only roll 1s and 6s. I don't believe the 1s part. He killed the Great Unclean One round 1 with 1 Warp Lightning Cannon shooting and Slink and his posse. Just took him out. And yeah, I don't know what the math is on that, but improbable.
It's not huge. It's obviously not likely, but it is what Slink can do. That's why I always bet on Slink, okay? Because he can be explosive. That's the whole point. That's why I love Slink. That's why I love his little posse. Because they just like, all it takes is for the dice to tilt slightly in your favor, and Slink's just like, oops, killed that unit.
Yeah.
Right? So
yeah. I'm a convert.
And shout out to the person who was brave enough to bring the Lady of Vines. So awesome.
100%.
That's great. Beautiful model. Okay. Lists. Let's talk lists, boys.
You love this crap. You need to take prime time to an actual tournament. Do you have a prime time painted up?
Yeah, I have multiple.
Yeah, okay. All right. Take them to. You love this. If we went back, I think this might be your highest like PER equivalent. You don't know what that means. You should. For a image, I got it out. I eventually spit it out. You love this image. That's
I do use it a lot. Yeah. What can I say? There are certain images I really like, especially as sort of page breakers and presentations. And that one's very stunning. It's using really interesting colors and composition. It's a great piece of art. And Celestin Prime is cool. Like, what do you want? Okay.
It was really cool last night. Let's take 15 minutes to talk about it. Round 3. Get into it. That's still the round, everybody. He wiped out. Oh, he was so good. All right. Makes me happy thinking about it. All right,
okay, I'm
glad
you had a good game. All right. I haven't seen you that happy in a while. Okay, so here I have there's the lists. Just kind of a general, here's everybody and what they're running and whether or not they're Highlander. But let's get into this. Where would we like to go? What's our plan here? We just gonna scroll through and you want to stop? Who do you want to jump around? Who has lists they want to talk about?
Well, I'm here for 5 hours. I don't know about you guys. So why don't you tell me?
We are not doing that. This is not going to be a long portion of the show. We're going to review a few lists each. Shout out to both Brendan Melnick and Christian Weir, who were here last weekend, and we got a good game of Warhammer in. So not last, I guess, week and a half ago. So that was great. And so I am sad that Brendan is not bringing his Seraphon. But I'm glad he's running Sylvaneth and he's Highlander. Good on him. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, good list. Solid list. Let's start with Alex Cotter. Speaking of Alex, let's say some nice things about Alex.
Let's get into it.
His broken dice. All right. So
the last nice things he'll hear all week.
Alex is a very good player. He gives us a lot of trouble. He's been playing a lot of powerful lists. His favorite models. That's an inside joke. They're all of his favorite models. Sorry, Alex. We love you, buddy. And He's running I think, a lovely Highlander Skaven list. Vince, what do you think about this, man? I think he's got a lot of nice grab bag choices here.
Yep.
He's got the flank.
Yeah.
So I like this list a lot. You can see the change from it being a Highlander list. Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, I haven't mentioned in a little while, but if you're excited about a super awesome Skaven list or just any list in general, hit like, hit subscribe, do all those things that make dings. It's super fun. Okay. So things I like in this. The Master Molder, obviously being power paired with the Rat Ogres is incredibly good. That's just, really, really strong. The Plague Priest, he has the 20 Plague Monks. You wouldn't bring that. Normally you would do 2x5 Censer Bearers. That would be the play. Okay. But obviously that would have robbed him of Highlander, right?
Yep.
Now I will say at the same time, I probably would have just I don't know, I might have just taken 10 Censer Bearers. I'm not sure. They're battle line all the same. Right? They turn battle line because of the Plague Priest all the same. Warbringer's great. He can be a perfectly powerful piece on his own. He can be quite damaging.
Offhand, what the Shield of Distraction is doing?
The Shield of Distraction is just like the -1 to hit, I think, off the top of my head. Sounds right.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
It's one of the Verminous items. It's pretty good.
Okay.
But
I think it's the one that only one unit can attack it.
Yeah, that might be right. Yeah. Yes, I think that's right. I am personally more of a fan of the
one enemy
thing
in combat
kills everybody's save by 1 when you're within 3 inches of them. I like that one on solo operating pieces like this, like the Warpstone Charm or Rusting Shield or something. I don't remember. It's one of the items that goes all. Yeah, it's one of the ones that goes all the way back to like 4th edition magic items. Slink is awesome. Warlock Engineer is here to power pair with the Warp Lightning Cannon, so perfectly fine. All of that's good. Your standard 20 clan rats, sure, why not? And then Rat Ogres are tragically undercounted or undervalued. I think they're just absolutely incredible. They are a very, very, very powerful unit.
Pretty scary.
They can just do an incredible amount of work, especially when they've got a Master Molder behind them, whipping them and staying within 13 inches of them and so on. And, the Hell Pit is like a fun goofball unit. If it doesn't get shot and it actually goes and fights something, depending on that unit, as long as you pick its target right, it can do good work. And then you still have the Vortex, which he's going to be harder pressed to power out here. Like, he doesn't have anybody who's going to be really great at powering that out. The Engineer's okay. He can obviously eat his spark to get it out. But it's not as good as having like a Grey Seer or something like that to power it out. Obviously the biggest problem with the list is because he has no Grey Seer, he has no Skitter Leap, right? And that is a big hit to what you're generally wanting to do with Skaven, just because it does provide you with quite a lot of versatility with getting your heroes wherever you need them to be, especially when combined with your gnaw holes. You kind of lose like half your gnaw holes functionality when you don't have Skitter Leap to kind of pair around with it, even with the new improved gnaw holes. But yeah, overall, I think this is a very interesting list. You've got Slink. That's nice. You got a little bit of ambushy stuff. He came in at 1990. I think in my build of this, Tyler, I would have said forget the Triumph. And I would have probably gone to a 5-pack of Censer Bearers and a 5-pack of Gutter Runners, because that would be 190 points. So like it's exactly the amount of points you have to spare. I'd still be Highlander, right? So cool. I think it'd be maybe one more drop, maybe not. No, I don't know. You wouldn't need to gain a drop. No, you'd still be a 2-drop. Yeah, you'd still fit in 2-drop. So that's probably the change I would make, and that's just because I just don't believe in Plague Monks. I just don't. I think that too often in the current meta they can just end up bouncing pretty hard off of anything. I just don't think they're an actual hammer. Whereas Censer Bearers are a much lower cost, but can do actually a lot more damage if you pick their target right. And Censer Bearers with Rabid is really good. So Whereas Plague Monks with Rabid will just be like, if they didn't damage it before, they're basically not damaging it now.
Even if you put Hoarfrost on them.
I mean, the Hoarfrost should go on the Rat Ogres.
Sure.
Like you're gonna Hoarfrost your Rat Ogres because you roll the 1, it goes on their hit roll, and suddenly they are just straight liquid death on that side, right? You roll the 3, it goes on their rend, and they will just kill anything.
Sure.
Right, because they're making so many attacks with 6s double tapping. Like when that goes to rend 3, that is it. Whatever they touch is just evaporated. It is one of the most powerful units in the game to Hoarfrost. Like their stat line takes a Hoarfrost perfectly. And now that 6 is the new coherency, they're even better.
Yeah.
Right. So I really cannot praise 6 Rat Ogres enough. By the way, when they die, they stand a very high percentage chance of just coming back.
Right.
All 6. Just like, there they are, they're back. 3 up.
And if you don't have a way to, like, area of effect off the Master Molder, he's going to be in the back of the board, like in a corner, ready to take them. So, if that thing's alive, they're able to come back on a 3-up. Really powerful. Yeah, but this is pretty honest Warhammer. I played against this the other week.
Yeah.
Good list, but yeah.
That's
hope
because Skaven is playing fair Warhammer. In a world of cheating armies, Skaven plays the fairest Warhammer. Look, Tyler, I know you don't want it to be true, but it is true.
I walked into it. Jesus.
They're all 4-up saves. It's all 4-up saves. Best you can do.
All right, let's move on quickly. What else we got?
Okay. Who you want to go to next? Let's see. We've got Bob Barton's Khorne Highlander list. Anything anybody wants to say here? He has the Cockatrice brought in, which is fun. He is 1-drop. Wait, how is he 1-drop with a Highlander list?
He is. Did somebody not do their job? Did I fail? Did what? Second list in, and I have failed. Let's see.
3.
1, 2, 3.
4. Cockatrice is not a monster, right?
It's not a monster. It's not a behemoth, I don't think. So he's not a Highlander. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, he's got the Kronspine. 9.
He's still a Highlander.
No.
I think your math is wrong on what can be a 1-drop because you've got 3 heroes, 5 units, and a monster.
I thought it was 2 heroes in Battle Reg. Is it 3?
It's 3, yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, shoot. Here I thought it was being clever with the 9 to turn off the 1-drop.
Well, you have to fill out all the other things, though. So, there you go.
Yeah.
Right.
Interesting. Okay.
So, well, there you go. All right. Well, hey, such is life.
Yeah. Got a few different choices with this list. With the Cockatrice, you don't see the Kronspine and Khorne that much. 30 Blood Reavers, you don't see that much.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild. He's not putting Hoarfrost or anything because he's Khorne on them. So other than that, Halo Blood, pretty common. Halo Blood, that's the Fight Last, I believe, or the Turn-Off Ward. I think it's the Fight Last. One or the other. And
what Halo
Blood Secretors are pretty good at killing themselves.
Strike first, not Fight Last. Strike first. Strike first.
Blood Secretors are pretty good at killing themselves.
Make it priest. What's that, Trav?
Blood Secretors pretty good at killing themselves to have a wild Kronspine.
Sure.
Yeah, definitely a different list. So good to see. Some of these, let's try to go through them quickly. Brands, I played him at Flying Monkey, awesome guy. He mentioned that he was interested in playing Legion. So I brought Legion to Flying Monkey. Didn't do very well, but that's such is life. And he has a cool list. So he's got Belly, he's got the buddies, Belly and Eternus. Love it. He's got a Gaunt Summoner. Don't see that a whole lot. I think that's an interesting play.
Knows everything.
Yes.
Shaman of the Chill Lands and all the Slaves of Darkness spells.
Yep. Dude has magic.
Whatever he wants to.
Yeah.
No, the shout out here is Chaos War Shrine, Bellicor, Eternus, the Gaunt Summoner who knows every spell, basically, right? Yeah. And then Spire Tyrants and some Furies. Like,
that's my style of battle line.
Fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. Getting them 70-point Spire Tyrants in there. I don't even know the last time I saw them on a list, but I love it. And Legion of the First Prince is great. I really do think it's a very weird, unusual army to play, switching marks around and doing stuff, like always trying to toolbox your way out of any problem. So looks very, very fun. Brendan.
It has a lot of play. Like, just had an unfortunate run. It has a lot of play. What else?
Brendan with, of course, as I mentioned, our diplomatic visiting knight and cantor, on loan from the Stormcast, as always. Why is it Sylvaneth can't just have their own casters? Why are they always borrowing it from the humans? That's what I want to know, you know? It was the battle mages before of Gur, and now it's knight and cantors. It's got a thing. Yeah, we've got the hunters with great swords.
Great unit right now. Yeah, very good unit.
Got some big Spite Rider Lancers. We got some Aetherwing allies. The individual Tree Lord. Yeah, fantastic.
I love this list. I'm very biased. Brendan is a longtime friend with Vince and I. So this is my favorite of the list for what it's worth of the Sylvaneth. The other ones are interesting as well. But I really love the composition of this list as a Highlander. He's got the auto-unbind. He's got an extra cast with the Incantor that's going to be doing Mystic Shield. The only thing for a critique, so I was talking to David Sidebotham, Vince, we've had on a couple of times talking about Sylvaneth, and David was pointing out that he thinks Radiant Spirit is being undervalued by Sylvaneth players. So Radiant Spirit is the one that gives you real protection against magic in this season, quite relevant. So yeah, I probably personally would have gone for that. People are still leaning into the Spellsinger, right, for the additional Mortal Wound Bomb range, for the giving out buffs, to trees from anywhere on the board. But yeah, excellent composition. I think we've talked about Spite Rider Lancers, the bugs, how they should see more play this season.
Yep.
And just I think excellent composition all around. So
agreed.
Yeah.
Brent, I don't know how to say his last name. Nauman?
Nauman.
Okay. Great. Love to see an Iron Jaws list and some Blood Tooths. Very classic list. Mega Boss on Maw Crusher, Mega Boss on foot, Chanter, Shaman, Ard Boys, the new build, and then Brutes, Gorg Runners, Pigs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's face it, where we went wrong here with this list, Brent, I like it. You're clearly you're a good guy. 11 drops, 138 wounds. I like everything about it, clearly, except the one mistake you made, which was giving an Auric Megaboss an Arcane Tome and then taking a Shaman. These are unnecessary things in the Iron Jaws. All you need is Smash. We didn't need this Andorran Acolyte waste of a battalion. And no, like that Megaboss could have had anything else. That's a better effect. You don't need magic in Iron Jaws. You know what your magic spell is you cast in Iron Jaws, Tyler? Do you know what it is? It's called Punch.
Well,
it's called Punch.
We're not casting a spell. I know that. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Fair enough.
It's the best spell in the game. Punch. It's amazing.
Open ourselves up to potential criticism here. We did choose this as a hard mode.
No, I absolutely think it is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It absolutely is.
This is very old school, fair, challenging Warhammer to do well with this kind of list. Yeah.
Yes.
Not
Mega Bosses are very weak right now for their points. Like, it is shocking how little those guys do for what they are.
So love that he's playing it. Hope he does well.
Another Brian Bowman with a Sylvaneth list. Big difference here. We got Spirit of Durthu and we got Dryka rocking in here. Yep. So very, very big hero side. A lot of hero power. Like, basically 1,000 points of heroes. Of just 3, more than 1,000 points total, but and just 3 heroes. Do you like the heavy hero strategy, or do you feel like that's too much investment for that thing?
It's my kind of style.
Yeah, Trav
the big heroes, as cheap of a battle line you can get, and whatever else fits.
That's Trav list right there. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, and you can go 4-1 or 1-4. It's just flip of the dice. Flip the coin. I'm not a huge fan of this list. I'm a huge fan of the player. Brian Bowman, local player, awesome guy, buffest guy in the local meta. That's not, it's not a lot of competition for that, but he definitely wins it. He's got a lot of nice pieces here. I'm not sure this is going to add up. I hope he does well with it. But I like the pieces. I just don't like the aggregate here,
Sure.
and kind of the composition choices with a lot of this. But yeah, he's very new to Sylvaneth. I'm excited to watch some of his games, see how it goes.
Sounds good. Let's talk about our first Soulblight entry, Carter. So little Virkos, Belladama, Gorslav, Vampire Lord, 20 skeletons, 60 zombies, 40 zombies, 20 zombies, 10 dire wolves, the corpse cart with the lodestone, and the suffocating gravetide, also known as Cancer.
And the most wounds in the tournament.
Yeah, at 192.
Yeah.
192 wounds. Woof. Woof.
Start
Had to have at least one. Good on you, Carter.
So that's gonna be a lot of 5-up boards. Whoever fights this, enjoy. Have a good time. You're gonna really have fun. You're gonna really have fun there. It's gonna be great.
And then the corpse cart with the zombies. Just yeah.
So
yeah. Is that Carter? Is that your list? Does he watch right now? What's up, Carter?
Yes.
He said, "I'm Cancer." Yes. What's up, buddy? You're fine for playing it, brother. It's fine. You play your list.
Yeah,
But yes, this is just
Carter,
this is truly my nightmare of things to play against. Like this is just an absolute top to bottom nightmare.
He's one of the players who's putting the GT in Vault Wars this
There you
year.
go.
So we appreciate those players.
Absolutely. Charles, bringing some Ossiarch Petrifex Elite, little Catacros and the Shaper, and more discard, 10 Mortec, 6 Stalkers, 5 Cavalos, 2 Archai, and the Harvester. So again, I think in line, few different choices here, but largely in line with what I would expect out of Petrifex Elite OBR list. So
Yeah, little different than what we had been seeing, of course, with
Sure.
the drops to the Harvester and the Mortec guards.
Yeah, I remember with the debuff to the Harvester, people are saying we'll never see it again. It's gone.
Sure. It's certainly back. Turns out, yeah, it's pretty good. It's at 160 points. Monster does good damage, brings models back. We've got 30 Mortec Gardenet coming up here a little bit later. Yeah, solid list. Nice fairly decent all rounder here.
Yeah.
Nothing too crazy. Charles Fox with Corn Highlander. T.O. a Flying Monkey. Fantastic T.O. Charles rocking a Highlander. A lot of good choices. So he's got the triple Bloodthirsters, Scarbrand, Unfettered Fury, Wrath. A lot of the choices you'd expect to see, right, in a competitive corn list. Halo Blood, Argoth, King of Blades, Firebrand for the prayers. What did he do? He did Warlord. Did he lean into? No, he did not lean into extra prayers. So we're just sticking with one prayer here.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I think it's a nice list.
He has 2 prayers. The Firebrand makes his Bloodthirster a prayer.
Right, but it looks like his Warlord was spent on
one choice of prayers. Yeah.
Yeah, just one choice. He spent on the extra artifact here. So yeah, a lot of these other choices. Vince,
Love
I feel
seeing
like
the
you'd
Claws of
expect to see.
Karnak in there. That's great. Those guys are fun.
Yeah.
I also like seeing the 3 Blood Crushers. I think that's actually a pretty decent scroll at 180 points. I think Blood Crushers do have some play in them. I don't think I see enough of them on the table, so I think that's a pretty solid choice.
The
Chase,
Wizard Finders,
our only city list.
Yeah,
and he's doing it all Bretonia style too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Little Misthaven choice. Okay.
What's that do again?
Marshall on Griffin, 2 Warforgers, Steel Helms, Cavaliers, Allied Chariot, Chariot. So very fun. Not really allied, but you get it. The Scourge Runner Chariot. So
Dark Elves, yeah.
Yep. Very nice.
What's Misthaven doing?
Misthaven is in your hero phase. If you're outside of 12, you can move D6 or 2D6 if you're mounted.
Yep.
Okay. Gotcha.
Some chariots are going to be floating.
Yeah.
As are the Cavaliers, obviously. So very nice.
Travis, what do you think about this list? You've been playing cities a fair amount.
I like it for the limitations of what's out. I think it's a good list. Not to tell all the secrets, but I finally figured out how to do a countercharge order.
Okay.
You wait for them to make you redeploy, you do it, and then you countercharge them when they fail their 9-inch charge or whatever.
Okay.
Nice.
Interesting.
Carter said
the
Chase
Griffin.
is making them
On the Griffin.
Bretonian chariots, which sounds super cool.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Very nice.
Yeah, they're good, solid war scroll. Those chariots. Frigo Marshall and Griffin's solid pieces. He's got Smash Hammer Griffin there. Should do some good work.
3 range, 4 damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. Our old buddy Christian Weir, great man, great guy. A little Highlander Gits list in Maws of Jork, with Grincrack, Loon Boss on Mango Squigs, the Madcap Shaman, the Web Spinner Shaman, and the Squig Boss with Nash Squig. Then some Bounders, big pack of Shooters, big old Squig Herd, of course Gobapalooza, and the Burning Head, rounding out at 1965. So ready to 10 drops. Still 181 wounds. I just want to point that out. Like, not an insignificant number of wounds that he will be regenerating half of in some cases.
Right.
So actually many, many more wounds than what it says here.
But can he bring back more than the Soul Blight?
That's yeah, exactly. Soul Blight starting 10 wounds higher and is going to bring back just as many, if not more. Yeah, indeed.
Strong list. This is a great example of what we talked about earlier of where, you can still run a strong Highlander list with some of these factions. We could quibble about whether this has changed much from what we had been seeing a lot of, although we've seen a decent amount of variety with the Gits list. With kind of mixing, matching some of the 36 squigs here, or the squig hoppers, or a lot of stabbers or shooters. But I love it. Great list. I think he's a good player, very good player, strong list. I wouldn't be surprised if he does really well.
Yep.
I think it's gonna be a challenge. Grin Crack is nice. I think he's a nice piece. You don't see a ton, but yeah.
Little Seraphon list with a Skink Star Priest and the Celestant Prime.
There he is.
The Hammer of Sigmar. And then, of course, the Venerable Lord Croak and the Banner and so on. Standard Seraphon nonsense. But we do have some Kroiger Warspawned and some Pterodon Riders. So we do have some interesting choices here, all the same. What do you think about this? You Travis, what's your take on this one?
Mortal wounds for days. Always.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, no endless spells. That's a little surprising. I'm seeing a lot of the Ether Void Pendulum play, Graveside play, etc. with Seraphon right now. They can do some gross things with Pendulum. I may have first-hand experience. And Pterodon Riders dropping Mortal Wounds is pretty cool. I remember we talked about them, as part of combo Mortal Wound spam play. Yeah, it's going to do what it does. It's strong.
Yep.
I don't think it's as necessarily strong as some of the more standard Starborn Mortal Wound spam builds.
Sure.
But yeah, it's quite capable.
Then we've got Daniel Patterson, S2D, Bellicor, the Sork Lord, another Eternus. What is all this Eternus going on? This is all in host. Crazy. With 10 Chosen, 5 Chaos Knights, and 6 Varangard, and then a couple endless spells. Yeah. Okay. Fun stuff.
Trav, what do you think?
I played this list, or I played against him with, I think, the same list at Gateway Open, and top of one, he killed Archeon and made me very sad with those 10 Chosen. So it's a good list.
Archeon opts out of screens. He's good.
Yeah,
doesn't need a screen. Okay. I mean, he's the Grand Marshal of the Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Destroyed the old world.
Bringer of ruin, destroyer of the old
Yeah.
world. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Like he doesn't need 10 idiots standing in front of him. He's good.
I didn't have 10 idiots. I had Spire Tyrants.
Sure.
I had 9 at best.
Sure. Then we got Daniel with another host of the Everchosen list. Speaking of the Grand Marshal of the Apocalypse, Archeon the Everchosen, and a Chaos Sork Lord, and then again 10 Chosen, 10 Warriors, 10 Warriors, 10 Warriors. So clearly just relying on a lot of like backboard battlefield control with the Warriors, while the 10 Chosen and Archeon march forth and assumingly conquer the entire enemy board, all in a one drop. Seems like a lot. That seems like a lot of hope to place on those 2 units. Like you really hope they're going to get there.
Dan's a good player.
Yes.
You think you got him beat, and then he just pulls it out.
Guy's the Houdini of our local community. Yeah.
Nice.
Especially with corn. I'm really curious to see how this does for him. He needs to wear his KISS t-shirt because he is keeping it very simple this time around. But yeah, I like the list. It's nice.
David Dvorak with a little LRL going for the great nation of Zytrek. Leaning into the magic side, Venari Lord Regent, Scenari Cathalar, Scenari Enlightener. No Lore Seeker to try to pull the little cheeky setup and Blizzard.
Yeah.
The last vestige of the Blizzard Wizard, not here. And then we've got 20 Wardens, 20 Sentinels, Blade Lords, and then 20 more Sentinels. And then 5 and 5 Dawn Riders. Twin Stones, Graveside, Rune of Petrification. So yeah, pretty standard LRL magic stuff going on here. Exactly what I would expect to see. So
Yep.
Well, Vince, I would say, I mean, yeah, I agree. It had been standard. More of late, we've been seeing the melee builds and not the
Sure.
Sentinels. So
No,
it'd be interesting to, yeah.
I agree. I also am surprised to see 2x5 Dawn Riders, to be frank. That is an unusual choice as well. But yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes. A little surprised to see the 2x20 Sentinels. I think a lot of Lumineth players feel like they're not quite there. Maybe they are, and it's anchor bias. But yeah, it's a little different, I think, right now at this time to see that many Sentinels.
Sure.
So we'll see.
We'll see. David Erger with the Highlander Gets list. He's running Glog's Mega Mob. We've got Trug, the Troggoth King, showing up. There you go. And then Dankhold Trog Boss, Scragrot, Web Spinner Shaman, and then Trolls and some Shooters. And of course our friends at the Gobapalooza to round everything out.
Look at that behemoth.
And a big spider.
Oh,
Look at
and the
that.
big Skitterstrand of Ragnarok. Yeah, can't forget about that guy. Just the regular spider. Nobody on top, no friends. Just the ambush spider. Okay. I'm all about this list. I don't know who David is, but David, I love your list. This is fantastic. I like this person,
Highlander-
whoever this guy is.
He's a good guy.
Gold
He
star.
played against me at just a local one day and proceeded to kill all his casters by himself without me having to do anything. So it was pretty
no.
nice. Archeon stood in front of him and just watched.
Nice.
Oh, wait. Sorry, Travis. I wasn't paying attention to you because
Great,
I often
thanks.
try not to.
Thanks.
What did you just say? Was that what our RTT? One of ours?
Yeah.
Okay, I think I must have played David as
the
well.
Y
Yeah,
one,
awesome.
I think.
Yeah. I think I played him as well. Awesome guy, fantastic. David, if you're listening, love it. Perfection. This is the best of the. Sorry, everybody else gets Highlander players. This is perfection because he's got a big spider.
Yep. I mean, the Skitterstrand of Ragnarok really takes it to the moon. Like that's fantastic. David Westfall with a Highlander Sylvaneth list. This is my hero because, again, as I mentioned back in the beginning, the Lady of Vines showing up in here. Love to see it. And then we've got some Gossamet Archers. We've got Scathed Wild Hunt, Tree Revs. We've got the Great Sword Kurnoth. What's not to love about this list? I love everything about it. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
This is another one-drop Highlander list where you were wrong because they were able to fit it all in because of the Tree Lord Behemoth. Take that,
I was
Tyler.
so proud of that.
Mhm. Got him.
Oh.
So that's fun.
Speechless.
Derek Hildebrandt with a little Ossiarch Petrifex Elite list. When again, Catacross, Bone Shaper. This time the Soul Reaper also showing up. 6 Immortus Guard, Death Riders, 10 Mortec, 2x3 Stalkers instead of our classic sort of 6 Stalkers, and then the Nightmare Predator. Yep. Again, seems cool.
Derek wins the Road to Hell is Paved with Good Intentions prize for his BCP list submission, full of text. Great work, Derek, on making it impossible to read for a TO, but maybe amazing for your opponents.
Oh, like this
Just-
extra neg 1 to wound on
All
Stalkers
these-
and Mortis and Melee. Yeah.
This is the highly cleaned up version.
Yes, I
So-
understand. Very nice to hand your opponent a nightmare for the TO. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Then we got James Matthews with Avengori SBG. Not just Avengori, but showing up with Nagash, leading a Vengorian Lord, 20 skeletons, 2 Terrorgeists, and 3 Fellbats. 2 drops, 1990 points. James, I look forward to your 1-4 record. This is the best list I've seen all day. It's amazing. No, I'm being a bit funny. Like, this is a rough go. The unmounted Terrorgeist is just, like, not good at all. But God bless this man for running Avangori, the best sub-faction.
He's using the old Nagash model, too.
Yeah.
The little tiny guy on top of the big tower.
Massive tower. I don't even know what he's doing with this list, other than I don't really know what all the combos are that he's got rocking him. And I understand what the Vengorian Lord is doing. I think it's been undervalued. It's a great piece. But yeah, Vince, do you have any clue of what he might be doing here with Terrorgeist and Avangori and Nagash? And
are you familiar with the term stunting? Yeah, are you familiar with the term stunting, Tyler?
A little bit.
Heard this phrase. That's what he's doing. Okay. There's no great strat here. Like, this is just, you've got Nagash. Nagash is a very powerful piece, right? Obviously. Yeah. And can do a lot of work on his own, especially in the current season. Right? The Vengorian Lord's a very powerful piece. And beyond that, you know, like, yeah, he's drugged down by 500 points of underwhelming Terrorgeist, but hey, roll sixes. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
Good to go.
Yep.
I would watch every game that James played and cheer for James all the way. This is lock it in. Pick of the week. Okay.
Would you go high? Let's not give away what we decided, Trev. Would you go hard mode or not with this, Vince?
Would I?
Yeah.
Yes. 1,000% yes. Yes. Like, yeah, man. You have one good unit in this list.
Okay.
Like, I don't know what else I don't know what else you're judging off of.
Right.
Like, I mean, no offense to James if he watches this. Like, I really don't. But, like, basically every unit in this list is at best average, barring the one unit.
All right. Well, I guess because of that reaction, we could probably say, yeah, this was one of the ones that we picked. I was a little worried because I didn't go through in detail what he might be. James is very clever. He's a good player, but looking at it, I'm sure the whole will be great in some of the parts, or strike that vice versa if I just screwed that up. But yeah, we both had that reaction, Trav and I. So
Carter will see. James is going to surprise people. Be ready, man. I hope so. I want that to happen. Take him to the cleaners, James.
Yeah, like if this is not like sort of the spirit of hard mode, then yeah, I'm not sure what would be. Yeah.
Jason Barrow with his slaves list here. Lord on Karkadrak, Sorcerer Lord, 10 Knights, 10 Warriors, 10 Splintered Fang, 10 Chosen, and
a Kronspine.
A Kronspine. Okay. That I was not expecting. That was a twist at the end. I've seen this sort of build out with Kronspine in S2D. This is a very popular thing last sort of couple seasons back and so on. I'll be honest with you, I'm not a fan. I'm just not a fan. I just don't think it gets there. I really don't. Just because I think I think it's too easy to end up corralling the Kronspine in some way if you've got the right piece to counter them, and then you're down to like one hammer, maybe two. If you can, like, if you're of such a list, you can catch the Knights flat-footed, and you can handle just tanking out the Kronspine until you kill it. Then you have to rely on the Chosen to kill the entire enemy army. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
There are a lot of units that are hard counters to Kronspine. That's the challenge.
Yeah. He definitely really knows what he's doing with this list. Like I said, he's a Flying Monkey running, I think, the exact same list.
Sure.
Something very similar. So yeah, be curious to see how it goes. But I agree with you.
Shocked by the number of endless spells I am seeing here, by the by. Shocked.
Yep.
The number of and like Kronspines, the number of times people are actually going to get to use that battle tactic, Magical Mayhem or whatever, that we never actually get to use is incredible in this tournament. There's a full 8 battle tactics on offer, actually, most games going on at this tournament, which is crazy. Somebody plays an endless spell, I'm like, yay, bonus battle tactic. Excellent.
We've got 42 endless spells.
That's so wild. Like, that is crazy. In a season where I just haven't seen endless spells be that much of a presence, to see that percentage of it is nuts. That's crazy. Okay.
7 pendulums. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was in your stats. I should have included that stat as well. Jeff Nauman. Wait, is this? Didn't we have another Nauman? Is this related?
Yeah, this is his brother. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Tyler, what do you think about this Nurgle list?
Yeah, Drown Men, Blessed Desecration. I think that's the one you got to control. You pick a terrain feature and hold it within your opponent's territory. You got to control at the end of the game for your grand strategy. Blowout Rotspawn, Lord of Afflictions, OP Stench, Bloodhorn Helm, very standard. Orgoth's Demon Spew, Bellicor. 3x2 bugs. The Blight Lords are back. Maybe they never left. Pendulum, once again. 3 drops because of the 3 big beasties. 97 wounds, about the lowest wound count you're going to see with the Nurgle list. Jeff is an exceptional player. He's been playing Nurgle forever. He just went 3-0 with this. Yeah, when in doubt, I'll bet on Jeff and his ability to pilot a list like this. One of the cleanest Warhammer players ever played against. Great guy. I need to say something bad about him. I said a lot of nice things there. It's not my cup of tea.
Sure.
Obviously, with all those bugs, but hard to go wrong with the 3 big beasties there and the OP Stench. So yeah, it's kind of a throwback, man.
Yep.
It feels like a 3-2 trying to get a 4-1, and I think that 4-1 is going to be tough.
Bellicor on his world tour. You got to respect it. He's hunting for that Nagash or Archeon matchup so he can laugh. That'll be very funny for him. That's a great turn. Then he wants to win that priority and give it away, and it'll be a great day. All right. Jeff Vizgatus.
Close enough.
Sure, why not? With a little Highlander corn. And yet again, we've got our Unfettered Fury. We got Scarbrand showing up, of course. The Claws of Karnak back in the mix. Six, count them, mighty Skull Crushers.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And some Vanguard.
Yeah, it's a lot of heavily armored. There's a lot of mounted iron power there. But still a low wound count. This is not somebody who wants to run into like a mortal wound spammy type of thing. That's not great. Skull Crushers do not have a great day. Like not a spellcasting mortal woundy thing, but like somebody who can just like shoot spam mortal wounds or attack spam mortal wounds. That's a bad day for this list. So
oddly enough, no Kroll Boys. I was expecting at least one Kroll Boys. But yeah. Trav, any thoughts on this? The Flayed. Gosh, what is the Flayed doing? I'm trying to remember.
I don't remember the Flayed.
What that does. What is that doing? Trav, any thoughts on this list while I look up what the Flayed is doing?
I like it. He's got enough bronze flesh to keep everybody nice and safe since he doesn't have his Mystic Shield. He's got heal on the Unfettered Fury, which I don't see much on a Corn Prayer. Usually they just want to die. So, yeah.
The Flayed friendly Bloodbound units have a Ward of 5+ if they have been picked to. And I just had an ad pop up. Thank you, Wahapedia. I'm trying to read the legal rules, and you're putting it back.
5+ ward on mortals after they fight.
After they fight. All right, excellent.
Nice.
Yes, this is one of the weird knob. Yes, weird knobs, weird boys.
Yeah, in the chat right now. And he actually said, of all the people to nail the pronunciation of my last name. So apparently I was very close.
Weird knobs. There it is.
Yes.
Yeah, cool list. Very cool list.
Very cool list. Jesse Brandt, Stormcast, Highlander. We got the Lord Celestin on Stardrake, already winning in spirit. The Lord Imperatant, the Lord Relictor, 3 Annihilators with Grand Hammers, 5 Sekis, 5 Vindicators, 3 Annihilators with Shields, 6 Griffies, 6 Vanguard Raptors with Long Strike Crossbows, and 3 Praetors. Warlord Battalion with a Call for Aid. Only 102 wounds and 10 drops.
Yeah.
And all in Knights Excelsior.
Jesse's played with that Stardrake for years.
Yes. This guy has the belt right now for Stardrake players. So took it over from Swinney and whomever else. And this guy also has a bone to pick with Vance Venturella, who has apparently been crapping on the Stardrake. I don't know. That's what the word on the street is from Jesse. I heard an earful from him at the last tournament, Flying Monkey. So I think he's just doing this to tell you you're an idiot.
Well, it is a battle tactic, I suppose. So that's something.
It is a battle tactic. The build out here is quite sweet. So he is Light of the Young Stars. He's going to be -1 to hit against the Stardrake. The Master of the Celestial Menagerie. He is going to be -1 to wounds.
Yep.
Strike skill armor. He's going to be rerolling saves against anything with a
Multi-damage.
multi-damage profile.
Mm-hmm.
And
On
then
sixes, his shield deals mortal wounds back.
does mortal wounds back. He is going to be trying to activate after your opponent is activated first in order to munch on a model and break coherency.
Sure.
So watch out for that, as always. And yeah, no, I've never seen the Praetors with Celestial Star Drake. That's really cool. Good list. He's got the Gryph-hounds for the anti-deep strike ambush
Sure.
tech. They're excellent
bark.
cheap chaff. Yep. Good list.
No, it's very
Jeff's-
fun.
Jeff's-
I like the combination of some Annihilators and Grand Hammers. I like the Imperator to guide him in. Yeah, I mean, I will continue to crap on the Star Drake because in general it is a bad unit, so that's fine. It might do well in this list. Like some units can excel in certain lists and with certain players. Like it's not like things are just things
Sure.
work in combination with other stuff. But in general, yes, it's a bad unit and it's full of it's a crappy unit. Take that.
Let's
Jesse.
go. 5-0 Jesse.
But,
Come on,
but
baby.
that being said, like that's a very, very tough nut to crack under most circumstances. Like the reality is, into the current meta, it's actually quite a smart choice. The neg 1 to hit, neg 1 to wound, with a combination of Drake scale armor, there's quite a lot of multi damage that you're going to run into. So it's going to actually be doing a lot of work. And the mortal wound back is no joke. So like I think within the scope of this list, where it can be used as this very interesting hammer, there's not a lot of huge counters. I think that Jesse will run into. There are some, obviously, right? Like you're sort of there are nightmare situations, but there's not many. So, yep. Okay. Cool. Alrighty. Joe Carnwright with Stormcast, and Astral Templars, Incantor Imperatant, Lord Arcanum on Griff Charger, Vanquishers, Vanguard Hunters, Ether Wings, Annihilators with Grandhammers, Quester Soul Sworn, Raptors with Long Strike Crossbows, 3 of them, another 3 of them with Long Strike Crossbows, the Everblaze Comet, Thunderbolt Volley. This is wild. This list is wild.
Mortal wounds for everybody.
Yeah, it just keeps going. It's like the most units I've ever seen in a Stormcast list. It's incredible.
A lot here. Yeah.
Good
list.
I love a list like this.
Yeah.
He's got an easy surround and destroy, or was it? Is it?
Surround and destroy. Yep.
Surround and destroy with the Vanguard Hunters and Soul Sworn.
It's going to be good. Very good at the new battle tactic. 1 per quarter, more than 6 away from the enemy. So he's definitely going to be able to get that every game as well. So it's kind of 2 auto battle tactics in most games for him.
Well, honestly, he's got a pretty great draw on, like, depending what's going on or the situation. If somebody's not careful, he'll easily pick up a Magical Mayhem too, because he has enough ranged power to get close enough that if somebody has like, a lot of endless spells floating around, a lot of incarnate floating around, or some incarnates floating around, it's pretty easy to just pick that wizard off if they're not very careful with how they protect him, right? If they don't, if he can take his, like shoot out a unit that's bodyguarding. If somebody leaves too thin of a bodyguard screen nearby, first unit shoots him out, other units then pick him up, right? Like that kind of combo play becomes very possible.
100%. Yeah, it's got some old school Morgant combo, Annihilators, Grand Hammers, Annihilana, Grande play here with the long strikes and the Grand Hammers.
Sure.
Amazing list. I'm so excited for the Stormcast players of this tournament because we have so many good lists. Vince, I've complained on the show about maybe a lot of the Stormcast lists not quite adding up this year for what it's worth but it could be a bad take by me. Just a lot of weird Stormcast lists I thought rocking around earlier in the season. Less of late with the point drops, but I think all of these lists are fascinating, really solid, really interesting.
Yeah, agreed.
He's got one last thing. Arcanum on Griff Charger for the Spellcasting Savant Grand Strategy play. That's one of the best Grand Strategy plays. Yeah. Like if that's the easiest, that's the most viable Grand Strategy for Stormcast right now is the Arcanum on Griff Charger Spellcasting Savant. And it gets very difficult. Yeah.
Yep. Joe Vukic?
Vucic.
With a little Highlander Gits, Mangler Squig Loon Boss, Swig Boss with Nasha Squig, Cave Shaman, Loon Boss, Bounders, Stabbas, Big Old Squig Herd, Gobapalooza, Mangler Squigs without the guy on top, and lots of drops. Very fun.
Yep.
Good old
Yeah.
Mazza Jork.
Amazing player from Oklahoma. Joe always does well. And yeah, very, very capable of doing incredibly well with this list.
Yeah, sure.
But we're seeing some things that, yeah, maybe he wouldn't have done without the Highlander here. Like, so yeah, I think it's pretty good.
Joel with the Night Haunt and Emerald Host, Guardian of Souls, Cruel Gas Cruciator, Spirit Torment, Lady Olinder, crazy. Kurdos Valentin, the Craven King, Reapers, Spirit Host, Chain Rasp, Sex Wraiths, Spirit Host, Chain Rasps, Banshees, and the Mortalis, Terminexus. All in 2 drops, double Bat Reg, 102 wounds. Always the biggest problem with Night Haunt is they don't regenerate everything, and they're at 102 wounds.
So this was another hard mode eligible for us.
Yep, that completely checks out for me. 1,000%, I would back that play. Yes, I mean just taking Olinder alone almost brings you into that space. So yep. All right. What else we got? Let's see. John Bain Wisaki. Waisoki.
I think you said it right the first time.
All right, cool. S2D, Karkadrak, Sork Lord, Chaos Lord, Chosen Knights, big old block of warriors, Corvus Cabal, and the War Shrine, and then the Realm Scourge Rupture. All in a 1-drop list and Host of the Everchosen. So good kind of round the world, all the standard, traditional chaos units. This is just like traditional chaos on display, right? Everything here.
Yeah, man. I love this list, actually. I think this is such a tight package, kind of efficient power pair, or maybe there's a trio in here, type list, right? Karg plus the Knights. Sork Lord, what has he got? He's got, Sork Lord plus, where's his Slanesh? Chaos Lord plus the Chosen. That's what I was looking for. Yeah. Chaos Lord on foot with the Conqueror's Crown, turning off, contesting on 1/1/2/1 models. So he's got that power pair, right? The Chosen, the Chaos Lord. But then something we don't see a whole lot is the 20 Warriors and the Shrine power pair with the Curse going on. So I love that. Hoping that does well for him. But yeah, it's just incredibly tight with the pairings that he has with this list.
And Master of the Dark Ritual, is that the one where they have to do all 4 battle tactics from slaves?
I think so. Let me, while we're going, we can come back to it.
Right. Yeah. All right, let's keep moving. John Thomas with Skaven. Grand Strat.
One of our locals. Yep.
Very nice.
He's the guy he's the one who did all the battle tactics last year.
Ah, yes. Okay. Very good. We got a Warbringer with Devious Adversary there at Rust Cursed Armor. That was the thing I was trying to think of earlier that the name wouldn't summon to my head. You have the Plague Priest on Furnace. Great, obviously, still. He's gotten cheaper, and it still has the big giant bubble of Battle Shock community. Grey Seer, Plague Priest, Engineer, 20 Clan Rats, 20 Plague Monks, double Warp Lightning Cannon, and then way too many endless spells. Just way too many. Those could just be more rats, and that would be a better investment by my estimation. But hey, you do you. I mean, certainly a very interesting list. Quite hero heavy by the standards of most Skaven. So it is very different. This is, as you said, like you said the same sort of thing earlier. This is just not my particular speed on a Skaven list. Doesn't have like the ambush, doesn't have the mobility, doesn't that I want. Does have the, you got the Grey Seer with Skitterleap, which is great. Like I'm here for that. But I like a lot of individual small pieces that I can just kind of flood all over the board with. Have a lot of different shooting. Have like never knowing where the next hit's coming from is kind of the way I like to play Skaven. This is a much more straightforward sort of list in how it's going to play and experience, where that Furnace can very easily anchor a line. The Warbringer can operate alone. The monks can get buffed and by the priests and the Furnace and just kind of move forward as like a wave, right? So yeah.
Where are you at on? Oh, yeah, go, Trev.
With all the spells, he can do a pretty large aerial of denial on the board, though.
Sure. Absolutely. Yep.
Vince, where are you at on hard mode eligibility for this one?
It's
got 2 cannons.
I mean, like almost all Skaven is almost automatically hard mode. Just because they're such a trash army right now, frankly, as the win rate would dictate. Yeah, I mean, I would certainly think it's in the discussion for that. Yeah, it's there's nothing here that's like, yeah, that's my pick. I mean, it took Vermintide. Boy, that's a choice. It took double warp lightning cannon. I mean, those are great, but as we know, that's like okay.
Sure. Playing with fire.
They are what they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like overcharge goes
literally.
boom. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's very much I think in my mind an unusual and potentially hard mode experience because it doesn't have all of those toolbox tricks that Skaven's going to try to utilize to win.
Yeah, we were on the bubble with this one. So, okay. Yeah,
Yep.
we have we're running out of time to make a call on this one, but
That's
okay,
fine.
just curious here.
We still got 4 more hours. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Jose with his Seraphon list. Croak, Bearer, Starmaster, Troglodyte, Starseer, Star Priest, 20 Skinks, the Raptidon Chargers, the Source Guard, and then a lot of endless spells. There are so many endless spells. I continue to be blown away. Yeah, Fangs of Sotek. Okay.
This is what made Tyler cry at Flying Monkey Con.
Yep.
Great guy, obnoxious list.
Sounds about right. Keegan Graves with Skaven, another Skaven list. Greyseer, Lord Screech, Plague Priest, Verminlord Warbringer, Plague Priest, Clan Rats, 10 Sensor Bearers, a Warp Grinder, and the Hell Pit Abomination. Way too much, like for my money, way too much investment into Verminlords. I mean, Verminlords are, by my estimation, basically trash right now, and so that's a problem. Like they are way too expensive for what you get out of them. They just basically never make up their points. A single Warbringer who's kitted out with like everything stands a chance of doing that and is an interesting solo operator. I think the second one is just like huge diminishing marginal utility. But that being said, there's obviously a lot of really great tech in here. Skitterleap, Blizzard, Death Frenzy, Hoarfrost is all at your command. The Sensor Bearer packs are incredibly dangerous, but I mean, and then I love a cheeky Warp Grinder. People sleep on the Warp Grinder. It's great.
Yeah, and I think what he's doing, if I understand the combination, is he has you get one unit that can go with Warp Grinder, so he's putting one of those PCBs with Warp Grinder off the board, and then whatever the rule is called that allows you to use a charge. You fish for a 9+ charge roll, and then you apply that to the Warp Grinder coming in with a 10 PCB. I don't know if that checks out, but that was my understanding of what you could do.
Doesn't work exactly like that.
Couldn't you? Okay, you can't have the Warp Grinder off, 10 Sensor Bearers off.
You can.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. It's just it's the Master Clan trait. So if you have 3 Master Clan heroes, which is Greyseer, and Lord Screech, that's just 3 Master Clan heroes. Okay. So what happens is when you make your first run roll, it can become everybody's run roll. When you make your first charge roll, it can become everybody's charge roll. So like fish is the wrong word, right? Like yes, he'll try to charge with something else, hope he gets a 9. If he doesn't, he'll re-roll it to try to get a 9, and then he could choose to then everybody charges 9. The trick is it's no longer a modified number, which is what it used to be, where you could like use the Molder Masters thing and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean you can fish and spit it out. Sure, it's just you're still banking on getting a 9+ with somebody. You're just effectively getting to roll their charge 3 times instead of 2, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Right? Because I get 2 rolls with this other unit, and if I don't get the 9, I still get a roll with them.
Gotcha.
With the unit that actually needs to charge 9.
Keegan did go 5-0 with this last weekend at the Michigan GT.
Nice.
Yeah. He's an amazing player. Yeah, it's like 4-1. He was playing for maybe 5-0. He was up there like table 2 last year at Vault Wars. Just fantastic player. So, and he's been playing some of these pieces for a while.
Nice. I mean, Skaven absolutely, as per usual, is what we said. It's what I stand behind, and what you said earlier. It's highly related to, like, it's a high skill floor or high skill ceiling army.
100%.
I just don't love the double Verminlord thing. It's not my style. But if he's pulling down the W's with it, then I support it. I mean, I can see the world. It's a hard list for me to picture how my path to victory if I was piloting it.
Sure.
Ken Best with S2D.
Best player in Springfield.
Okay.
Just because his last name.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
He is the
100%.
best. Shout out to like what I want to shout out here, Exalted Hero of Chaos. Hell yeah. Well done. Not seen enough of those guys on the table. Come on, let's get into it.
Yeah, that was the piece he has been debating whether he should have left him on the bench, and the guy's not been
Never.
making a great case for himself. Ken is running the best demon. We got to stop this. I'm not supposed to be doing puns, much less on this show. Travis is here. This is all going downhill. Slaves of Darkness, Demon Prince. Okay, the much maligned Demon Prince. Ken is trying to make some combos work here, right? He's got the talents. Why the hell does he have the talents? Well, he's trying to get Hoarfrost on this thing. He's got the Hellfire Sword. He's got Flaming Weapon, trying to get +1 damage. And he's trying. This keyword. Sometimes it works, often it doesn't. I love that he is giving it a go, because this thing can be scary if A, B, C, D, E, F, G happens.
Marcus
So,
the extra attack.
Yep, extra attack. You can go run and charge, long as threat range. Get on your Ken. Yes, he's been having a tough go of it of late. Travis didn't help matters.
Yeah, this is what we call throwing good money after bad. If you've heard of that phrase, that's what kitting out this Demon Prince in this way is. I've run the same exact kit, by the way. This is like one of my favorite build outs for Demon Princes because I'm bound and determined to make the stupid things work. And so I'm very familiar with this kit. And yep. Sometimes it works. That's yep.
Yep. Oh, yes.
Kevin Parrott with Stormcast. Stormcast Eternals, Hammers, Night Draconis, 4 Storm Drake, 2 Storm Drake, 2 Storm Drake, wrapped up in a Battle Reg, 94 wounds, Draconic Fury, baby. Yes. Dragon.exe. Let's go.
Kevin plays AOS for the dragons. That's what he does. That's all the man needs. He's happy. Kit Reich. With apologies to everybody else competing for Best Painted.
Oh.
The man, the myth, and legend is showing
Kit,
up.
He's showing up?
He's showing up.
Okay, so this is your Best Painted winner.
Sorry, everybody.
I mean, it's not me being a jerk to anybody else who has an amazingly beautiful army, but I've judged most armies in the country for people who go to major tournaments, right? I think I judge 2 out of the 3 largest AOS tournaments in the country, right?
Yeah.
And we just couldn't afford him.
Sure. And Kit has the best looking Soulblight Gravelord army and one of the top 3 armies in the country. As far as look goes. That is a very easy thing to say. I've seen a lot of armies. This is truly a masterclass in painting an army. It is incredible.
Are you willing to say real quickly the other 2? I think I know one of the other 2, but or do you not want to go there?
No, that's fine. I can talk about the other 2. Yeah, sure. I'll leave myself out of it because I'm not gonna. That would be a real jerk move. But the other 2 would be Martin Orlando and Arscalars.
There we go. Checks out.
Yep. So, okay, but yeah, Kit's army is like a heartbreaking work of staggering genius. It's gorgeous. At any rate, Landon Jennings with some Aussie Archon, Bone Shaper, Soul Mason, no Catacross. Immediately, I like Landon. Immediately. Landon, I like you. I'm in for
one of our newer players. Still kicks most people's butts with OBR. So
he's very likable.
Yeah.
Man, is there anything worse than a really nice, likable OBR player? Oh, the worst. The worst. Okay, well, good. I hope Landon does well with this. A lot of Immortus Guard. Like to see that. 9 Immortus Guard is a wild number of those things. So, 9 Guard, 15 Death Riders. It's an interesting list, to say the least. LaRon. Heck yeah. All right, LaRon. With a little Highlander Corn. Ritualist, Bloodscrater, Scarbrand, Unfettered Fury, Bloodthirster, Scar, Blood Wrath. Hell yeah. Slaughter Priest, Skull Reapers. Yeah, where have those guys been? These other Corn players sleeping on the Skull Reapers. I stand Skull Reapers. Blood Warriors, Blood Reavers, and the good old Claws of Karanak. Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice, Laron.
Yeah, we see a lot of Khorne list with claws and fleshhounds or claws. Pick two: claws, fleshhounds, and untamed beast. Every once in a while, some blood reavers for the trying to destroy round one battle tactic. That's often their go-to. Round one is that battle tactic.
Yep.
Yeah, great list. He's going for it.
Weird Knobs called Scar Bloodwrath Scar off-brand, and that is absolutely top level punning, my dog. That is really good. I am here for this. All right, Linus Berkey with S2D, the Lord on Kark, Chaos Lord, Sork Lord, 10 Knights, 10 Chosen, 20 Warriors, 3 Varengard, and the Pendulum. So again, pretty all in host. Pretty again, lock standard S2D list. It's good. It does what it does. I think, honestly, I'll be honest, I just don't think this list has any gas. I think these lists, I think this is a pretty standard explanation, version of the list.
Yeah.
And I just don't think it has the gas to go the distance.
It's trying to run over you. And yeah, sometimes it gets there, sometimes it doesn't. So, and obviously warriors can stand maybe in the middle on an objective quite well. Yeah, I played it last night. It's I hope he does well. It's tough list to do well with because it is pretty straightforward. But
Noah, based on what you said in the chat there, I would say check out New Cities. Like, New Cities is probably, if you like IG, if you like Orcs, if you like Tau, New Cities will be a pretty decent approximation of that feeling. Doesn't have any Death Guard feel. You'd want more just straight Nurgle. Death Guard and Nurgle are pretty direct translations from the two games into each other. So that's my answer, Noah. All right. Yeah. Marcus Miller, OBR Highlander list in Null Myriad. Archon, Liege Cavalos, Bone Shaper, Soul Reaper, 30 Guard, 5 Death Riders, 2 Archai, 3 Stalkers, and the Harvester. All right. Now, this is a nice different take. Seeing the 30 Guard again.
Yeah.
Yep.
No Catacross. Yeah, Travis, what do you think about this one? I like this one.
Yeah, I think it'll do well. He's got Hoarfrost that could be very gross on those 30 Guard.
Yeah.
Let's see. He doesn't. Is Artisan's Key the autocast one? First spell's an autocast.
Artisan's Key. That might be the -1 hit and wound against shooting bubble holding within 12.
Yeah. No, I think that's the aura of sterility. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Artisan's Key. Maybe that's the extra roll for bringing models back. I'd have to argue that's built in. We're struggling here. Artisan's Key, relics, bones, Artisan Key, Bone Shaver for the bearer. On a 3+, you have to pick. Yeah, it gives you the extra roll, 2 units.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yeah, he'll be bringing them all back.
Very nice.
Doesn't have any bodyguard though.
Yeah, no bodyguard.
Mm-hmm.
Archon's just got to live on by his wits. That's fine. He'll be okay. All right. Let's keep moving. Hey, Matthew Swinney, Stormcast, Highlander, Lord Imperator, Lord Relictor, Knight Relictor, Knight Incantor, Knight Incantor, Knight Relictor, Knight Relictor. You love to see it. I love to see the Knight Relictor. He's like the little. He's there learning from his big brother. That's fine. As usual, Swinney never overinvests in heroes. This guy he's minimal hero situation. 5 Libbies, 10 Vanquishers, 10 Vindicators, 6 Annihilators of Grandhammers, the Quester Soul Sworn, the Dracothian Guard, Tempesters. You love to see it. And then the Dias Arcanum and the Pendulum. All at 5 drops with Unleash Thy Hatred is the holy command. Swinney's always got an angle. I love it.
Yep.
The man,
man
is a list craftsman.
Yep. One of the best Stormcast lists I've seen this year. And it's Celestial Vindicators, which we have almost never see.
Yep. I like this list a lot.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's staying here this weekend, Vince. He's crashing.
Oh,
so we're gonna get a lot
Tell him I said hello.
Time to, I will.
I hope
he's
doing
got
well.
It's got the Dais, which is even a nice play. Tremendous amount going on this list. Multiple units that can leverage the Celestial Vindicators. Obviously, I think it's limited to one per combat phase, even though it's, which is kind of silly and shows you how far we've gotten away from where they started with this season, with this edition. But yeah, 4 great units to leverage it. Just incredible picks all around. 130 wounds is solid wound count. Yeah, excited to see how he does.
Absolutely. Matt Shantz, Stormcast Highlander again. Lord Arcanum on Griff Charger, your favorite. The Knight Vexilor, my favorite. The Dracothian Guard Desolators, wild. Liberators, Vindicators, Vanguard Hunters, Raptors with long strikes, 2 Stormdrake Guard, Annihilators with meteoric grand hammers, and all wrapped up in a battle reg, and a Redemption Brotherhood, and then Call for Aid. Yeah, very fun, unusual take. The Desolators is shocking to me. That I don't know if I've seen maybe ever, but okay.
It's a lot of attack.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Trav, what do you think about this one?
I like it. Matt's a pretty good player. He's the TO for Bug Eater. He ran something pretty similar to this at Flying Monkey, and I think he did pretty good at it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Michael Morley, our Ogre player. Huskard on Stonehorn, Frostlord on Stonehorn, Bloodpelt Hunter, Stonehorn Beast Riders, Stonehorn Beast Riders, Stonehorn Beast Riders. Wrapped up in a bat reg.
The lowest wounds in the tournament.
79. Yeah. Monster trucks. Hey, they do what they do. They truck around. So wounds don't matter if everybody dies on the charge. So, there you go.
Yep. Yeah. Still solid. Metal Cruncher. Particularly if you're really good at rolling 5-ups, which he was the other night.
Sure.
So,
I mean, obviously the main Frostlord and Stonehorn is a real problem. Basically, this list it was my loss at NashCon with my sons. Like, this is they landed their charges. A regular Stonehorn Beast Rider took a Gatebreaker Mega Gargant from full to dead in 1 round.
That does not seem likely, but okay.
Hey, it turns out it's a dice game. So, it happens. Nicholas True with some Caradron Overlords and the Grundstock Expeditionary Force. So, Chemist, Navigator, Thunderers. 35 Thunderers. And then 3 Gun Haulers to shift them all around the board anytime they feel like. Are you sad that your 15, 10, and 10 Thunderers can only move a few inches at a time? Are you sick of existing KO technology where you could put 5 guys, 5 piddly idiots, into a gun hauler? Welcome to the new world of advanced Grundstock Expeditionary Force technology, where we can rocket these 35 morons around the board at lightning speed and get them shooting twice. Wonderful.
But are they actually in it, or are they just hanging off the side with graphics?
They're all just hanging off the side,
flying around. Yeah.
It's just holding on for dear life. Yep, absolutely.
So, Nick might want to bring his Best Sportsman award from I think Kansas City Open, or he attended the U.S. Open where he won Best Sports playing Thunder Spam, like the KO list prior to the
this is one of the nicest men alive in the world.
He's an amazing guy.
Nicholas is a saint. That's what I've just learned.
If there's anybody that I would trust playing this kind of list, it's Nick to still give people a good game.
Nice. Nicholas Wilson with Sons. Love to see it. Breaker Tribe. Okay, that's all right. I'm okay with it. It's not my fave, but it's okay. Why is his 1 Gatebreaker cheaper? That's weird. Is that just mistyped?
Oh, it may be just. I hope it's mistyped.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't matter. Like, the points fit. It's just I'm not sure what's going on there.
It's probably mistyped.
It's probably just mistyped.
One of those premium Gatebreakers.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, because they're gonna say Gatebreakers are 500. Like, this list is legal. It's not the issue. It's just why? I didn't know if it was either Gatebreaker was mistyped or the points were mistyped. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that may have been me. I'm pretty sure it is. I'll double check after the show.
Sure. But
But
either way,
yeah, I'm pretty
sure.
sure.
It's exactly what I
Cool.
would expect out of this new build. You can do this now. You can trip gate breakers with the Braggott's bottle snatches. So it's a very popular build of this list. Gate breakers are
Right.
very dangerous. Like
Yeah.
it actually has battle tactic play because you can easily get your Master of Magic and your Surround and Destroy out of the goblins, so they're good for the 2 battle tactics you'd otherwise drop as sons. So, all very standard stuff. Cool.
Yeah.
Nick Raverty with Beasts, Highlander, Beast of Chaos, and Quake Fray. Bellicor, again, his world tour continues. Now he's over here in Beast of Chaos. This guy's everywhere. There is gonna be some Spider-Man situations going on at the tournament, for sure. At any rate, Bellicor, Great Bray Shaman, the Beast, the Zangor Shaman, 10 Ungor, a Gorgon, a Cygor. These are battle line units I'm reading right now. Love it. And then 6 Fiendbloods, Slangor Fiendbloods. Incredible. 6 Enlightened, 6 Bulgors. Okay. Cool. Is this a hard mode candidate?
Yeah, I'll just say that it was a candidate in our estimation,
I would agree with
even
that read.
even though it has Bellicor. He is making, I think, quite a few choices that are off meta relative to what we've been seeing with Chaos.
The Cygor, the Slangor Fiendbloods, the Enlightened, yes, sure. I mean, obviously Bulgors are great, right? But they're Bulgors without he doesn't have the Doom Bowl to allow for the nonsense, right? So it's just I guess 6 Bulgors are still good. I mean, they're okay, but like, boy, oh boy, that is a pull right there. Okay, yeah, that feels hard mode to me. Paul Wright with Idneth, Killian King, Lotan, Celestin Prime over visiting here. Hey, this guy gets around too. And then we've got some shivers. It's some shiver shark spam. This is the list we knew was coming after that last battle scroll, right?
100%. Yeah.
So what do you, Travis? What's your read on shiver shark spam?
I fought it against cities. It chews you. It eats you. But it doesn't like the city's counterfire. I learned that nice and easy. But yeah, it'll chew everything that it wants to chew up.
That sounds absolutely correct to me. Okay, cool. Look, I'm interested to see how this one performs because again, 84 wounds. Whew.
Yeah.
I think this might actually be the lowest wounds in the tournament, by the way, because I don't think the other one takes the boulder head wounds into estimation. Like I didn't.
Yeah, he's second. To the boulder head.
So if you figure boulder head actually has the extra 2 wounds on all of their monsters,
right,
then they would technically be at 89 or something like that. Yeah, that sounds right off the top of my head. So this might actually be the lowest wounds in the tournament. I think that's ultimately the challenge. Like them sharks. Yeah, they can chew up, but man, is that not a lot of wounds.
Yeah, we had Paul on the show, I think last year, Vince. He's
always
played Idneth, man. He's played it maybe almost more than anybody, certainly anybody that I know. Awesome player with Idneth. So yeah, be curious to see.
Preston with Soul Blight. Lady, I love this list, by the way. I love this list. I am here for this list. Lady Anika, Ivya Volga, Kato Estesher. I can't pronounce any of these names. Belladama, Chadakar, and a regular vampire lord, and then direwolves, and 20 zombies, and then 10 graveguard, 20 graveguard. I love it. Took the entire cast of characters, right? Just all of them. Let's go. Let's freaking go. Now this is a Soul Blight list I can respect. Love this list. Way to go, Preston. This is fantastic. Just like he's playing Cursed City, the army.
Right. Yeah. And, a lot of these unique characters are pretty nice pieces. Shadowcar's
Sure.
solid, Belladama, Kato solid, Lady Annika, or however you say her name, she's solid. She's I think maybe been undervalued, or just so many other war scrolls are really good in that battle
Agreed.
tone that you don't see a lot. But yeah, she's
They're
great.
undervalued
Like,
because there's just like or just take zombies, right? That's been the
right,
problem.
right,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, really cool list.
Yep. Reese, Novak Wilson with some gits. Loon Boss on Giant Cave Squig, Loon Boss on Mangler, Scragrot, Loon Boss, 20 shooters, Bounders, Hoppas, little minimum size Squig herd, Gabapalooza with the Moon and the Mushroom, all in the Maws of Jork.
142 wounds, 4 drops. Reese is part of the pairing with Landon and Reese.
Our newest player as well.
Newest player, yep. So she's playing her first event. I think both Landon and her are playing at their certainly the first AOS event. So yeah, hope she has a great time. It's a really cool list. I definitely think it's a hard mode, right? She's got a lot of MSU units here rocking around, not the big units. But yeah, some cool pieces here.
Definitely hard mode. A lot of min-sized units. A lot of but this list will be a lot of fun to play. Absolutely, and I love seeing the Moon and the Mighty Mushroom. Like, I'm here for that. Those are actually on the spells I'm happy to see. Totally. Ryan Cavan with his Highlander Corn list, Bloodthirster, and Scarbrand. The trip thirsties with the Slaughter Priest, the Ritualist, and the Bloodmaster. Bloodmaster's an unusual choice. And then letters, and Fleshhounds, and then a unit of Skull Crushers with some skulls to back it up. Cool. Good corn list. I mean, what do you say? Trip Bloodthirsters. It is what it is. That's where you're doing all the work. So, yep.
Experienced player, great player. We had a blast last game at Flying Monkey. Love Ryan. Awesome play against. Gives everybody a good game.
Very fun Highlander list, I'll say. Like, this seems like a lot of fun to pilot. Smitty Smith with another Corn Highlander. Ritualist, Unfettered Fury, Slaughter Priest, Secretor, Scarbrand, Bloodmaster. And then 10 Skull Reapers, 10 Blood Warriors, 10 Blood Reavers, and then the Claws of Karnak and the Untamed Beasts.
There they are.
Yeah. All right. First time we've seen those guys showing up. Like this. Again, as I mentioned before, here for the Skull Reapers. Love it. So it's great. Good stuff.
Yeah, he's got the extra prayers, so double Warlord. He's got 2 prayers, so more options. And I think he went extra artifact. Yeah, 2 artifacts as well. Halo Blood, Argath, usual. Quite a good toolbox. Those Skull Reapers, they can do some work.
Absolutely. Steve
Potasic.
Okay.
One of the 2.
With King Broad Stomp, our new army of renown. King Broad, Kraken Eater, Gatebreaker. 2,000 on the nose. Do it to it. This is great. I wouldn't have taken the Arcane Tome. I would have said, let's go hard mode. Let's go all the way hard mode. I'm not, we don't need magic. But yeah, I'm very interested to see how Steve does. I think King Broad Stomp is really interesting. I think the potential here is very high, is what I'll say with this one. So, yeah.
Have you met Steve and Tracy? Have you guys ever met?
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, all right. I figured you guys had.
Yes.
I know.
I did not realize that was Steve's last name until you just said Steve and Tracy.
Okay.
Then I know exactly who you're talking about. That's so funny. Like, I'm terrible with names. I don't recall that I've ever actually had Steve tell me his last name or I've heard his last name. But yeah, Steve's great. So good. I'll be interested to see how this goes. Stu Limming, Slanesh, Pretenders. Okay, let's get into this here. All right. Contorted Epitome, Lord of Pain, Bellicor. This guy gets around like a record. 55 Blissbarb Archers, 10 Blissbarb Seekers. Thanks, I hate it. Okay. Yep. It's, even with the changes, still quite a strong list. I mean, that's what it comes down to. It's just an intense amount of shooting. You're going to try to lock somebody up with Bellicor. The Epitome is going to do a bunch of work. You're going to command point everywhere for days. Everybody unleashes all the time, just like constantly and forever. You charge anything, everybody shoots. Just like it's great. It's great. You love to see it. Tracy. Oh, okay. I would have figured it out here when I saw the same last name and put it together. Trug's Trogherd, Trug the Troggoth King, Trog Boss Mollog. Heck yeah, Mollog.
Yeah.
6 rock guts, 6 rock guts, 3 rock guts, 3 fell waters, 3 fell waters, and the moon. What a great all troll list. I'll be interested to see how Trug performs, because I'm really on the fence on him. And I got 2 people running Trog, I think. Trug, sorry. And it'll be interesting to see how Trug does. I'll look for some feedback. We'll have to catch up and see. You have to tell me how Trug did overall.
Yeah, this is, for my money, a friendlier Trog list. Not that they've been, breaking the game, but obviously we've seen some troll lists do quite well for a little while.
Sure.
But she doesn't have the traditional build out with the Nickel Trog Boss. The Glowy Houset's not there. There's something else that I'm forgetting that you usually see that's sticking with the Trog Boss. Mollog is never seen, and so I think it's on the friendlier side. But yeah, it'll be fascinating to see how, as you said, how Trug does with all this.
Yeah, absolutely. Vince, is this their?
Yep.
Their son.
Okay,
One of the
that's what I
sons.
thought. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, that's family affair. Grayseer, Thankwell, Engineer, Lord Screech, Claw Lord, 20 clan rats, 20 clan rats, 20 clan rats, Trip Warp Lightning Cannon. This better be a hard mode list, because my god, this is a tough list to win with. Like, Trip Warp Lightning Cannon is just really tough. Like, yeah, it's potential for a decent amount of mortal wounds, but it's really hard to win with. Thankwell is just a really not very good piece right now, because there's not, like, unless you get into zombie spam and you can walk him up like, hey, 4 warp fire projectors is super fun against zombies, but beyond that, it's not doing a lot in the current meta. He without the bringy dingy bringing him around, he lost his like best trick and really his reason for being 430 points. He just doesn't justify it anymore. He's not a powerful enough caster to get that off. His base spell on his scroll is total hot Chinatown garbage. It's terrible. Screech is okay. Like, that's it. Your regular clan rats are all nothing. Read 3 clan rat units as literally nothing. They're there to stand there. They cannot kill anything. They cannot live through anything. They are there to stand. That is it.
Yeah.
So, like, this is a very tough list to pilot a win to a win. It really is. But I'll be interested to see. Vortex and Gnashing Jaws better do a lot of work coming out of both of your casters.
Right.
Like, a lot of work.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I think is this our last one? Nope, 2 more. Okay.
Yeah, 2 more.
Yeah, Walker Snappin' Sons again with Broad Stomp, Broad Gatebreaker, War Stomper, and then the Kraken Eater. I like, actually, this sort of kind of everybody in the mix list.
Yep.
You got kind of the widest range of abilities. So, again, I think like this is easy. You at this build, the other thing I like about this build is you basically auto get your Triumph. Okay.
1850.
Cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, again, I think Broad Stomp actually has some real play. I'll be interested to see how these 2 lists do.
Well,
I think
Walker is a terror on the table with Suns. Like, he's played them forever. He knows what he's doing.
He's very tall, so
he's very tall. Yeah, he's intimidating. Yeah,
he can lean
plays
over really well to move the Mega Gargants. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Broad Stomp, regardless of teleport dumb shenanigans with the stupid new rule, like, regardless of that, I think Broad Stomp, in most, depending on how the scenarios fall, almost automatically gets a 3-2. That's my read on it. Like, it's almost impossible for them for this army in this build with what it is to go less than 3-2, because it's so easy to sit there and just win on objectives, to just stand and hold.
Yeah.
Right. Because you get like the extra 5 up ward on Broad, so he becomes very hard to remove, and he is a huge control piece. Like, so yeah. And like, it's not hard to keep him in his bonus while still having the other Mega Gargant towing in on another objective potentially, depending on how that works out. Like, it's very easy to split that control like that.
And I mean, to say the obvious, right, Vince, the battle tactic situation has been helped so much by the Broad Stomp, which was one of the issues. So
absolutely, yeah, big. That's what I'm saying. I just really think I really think Broad Stomp has just like at setup, like game 1, they're just going 3-2 almost by default, right? Obviously, that's not true all the time, but yeah, there you go. And then closing
Yeah,
out. Oh,
yeah.
go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say that. I mean, it is what it is with the rules right now. With this,
Yep.
we're allowing it. I'm hoping it's not going to be a disaster.
Sure.
Like, it
We'll
is what it
see.
is. Yeah.
Then finally, Yancey, I'm not even taking a shot. I decline. Hey, there it is. Corn Highlander list, Bloodthirster of Unfettered Fury, the Ritualist, and the Slaughter Priest, Bloodsecrator, and Scarbrand again. 5 Fleshhounds, 10 Skull Reapers. Love to see it. 10 Blood Warriors, and then the Karnak, and then the Untamed Beasts. So, yeah.
Looks
very in
like
line with a lot of the corn we've seen.
yeah, Yancey and Laron, somebody copied somebody's homework, or we've got some collusion going on from St. Louis. Yeah.
There we go. We touched on all the lists, something I swore we wouldn't do, and yet we did it all the same because
Pretty
I didn't
quickly as
want to
well.
shortcut anybody.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, look forward to seeing what happens with Vault Wars this weekend. Thank you all very much for the current meta discussion, for giving us a preview into Vault Wars, for sharing some fun stats. To all the people going to Vault Wars, good luck. I hope everybody has just 5 great, amazing games of Warhammer. That's what you want in the end. That's a perfect tournament. When you've got 5 fun games with 5 fun opponents, you are winning at a tournament. So, be interested to see how some of the new stuff does as we continue to build up the season. Travis, anything final you want to share with everybody?
This is our 2nd GT of the year. Next year, I'm hosting 3 GTs, so look for those.
I gotta get out to one of these. I'm sleeping on it.
That'd be nice. This friend status that you keep telling me about. I'd love to see you, man.
Absolutely. We'll make it happen, as long as hopefully it's not the week before I have to be gone for a week for work. That's really the problem.
We had Tom. We'd love the exposure.
Sure, absolutely.
That's really saying something. Tom's coming out and supporting his friend before you are.
That does hurt. That cuts me deeply. I mean, given the fact that it would be literally impossible for me to come this weekend, as I am quite literally traveling to a work meeting on Sunday. So, but in the future, we'll make it happen. Thank you all for watching. If you haven't hit like yet, hey, hit like, subscribe, do all those things. If you want to support the show, there's ways you can do it. You can get cool shorts like me on your shirt. My little guy here. There he is. Look at that. Or Kathy's, my wife's, with the canines of chaos. Shirts and cool mouse pads and drinks and everything else you'd want. The merch link is down below. There's links for if you're going to purchase some paints from Monument or buy anything from Element Games. You can check all those out. All of that helps support the show, and we really appreciate it. Of course, there's a Patreon down there if you're focused on getting your army up to try to win Best Painted, or just take your next step on your hobby journey, whatever it is. That's what that's focused on. Love to have you as part of the community. But as always, just share the show. We really appreciate you watching. Thanks to all of you who stuck it out. You're all heroes. If there's anything we didn't answer, or any of the lists that you like, put your pick for your list. What was your favorite? If you stuck it out to here, drop your list for what was your pick for your favorite list down in the comments. We want to see it. Who do you think is going to take it home? What was your favorite list? But as always, we thank you so much for watching. And next week will be a fun hotel show. Hopefully not as bad as the last one. But we'll see you next Wednesday.